Welcome to Ada Continues, episode 162, a weekly podcast posted up every Monday on adacontinues.com as an MP3 or a few days earlier on youtube.com/adacontinues as a video with full video motion and our faces.
Video motion.
We talk about video games and other related topics. And I am your host, Stafa. If this is the first time that you're watching the show or tuning in, listening, I usually have different guest hosts on the show with me each week. And this week, I have my brother Ali.
Yeah, buddy.
And we have K-Trey.
Hello.
Kevin.
I called him Trey Trey again when he came in today.
How you guys doing?
Not too
That's
bad.
going.
Back in action on Ada Continues.
Were we out of action?
Well, you two were.
Oh, man.
I was always in action.
I don't know. I mean, I've been
Hey,
pretty frequent on your.
not last week.
Well, okay.
While you were being back in action, I was being front in action.
I don't even know what's that even supposed to refer to. So I'm just going to move on and tell the listeners what they can expect out of this show. And this show, this specific episode, we're going to talk about what have we been playing, first and foremost. The second segment, we're going to basically do some really quick announcements. After that, the main segment of the show, we're going to have a topic discussion on 2014.
Topic discussion.
Yes, a topic discussion. A discussion on the topic of 2014.
It's a bit redundant, isn't it?
Come on now. Come on, get with the program. I'm getting the listeners up with the program, so you need to get with the program too.
I'm getting.
All right, good.
I've been
So
got.
we're going to be talking about our favorite things of 2014, maybe some things that we didn't like, but we'll depends on how long the discussion goes. We'll see how that is. After that, we got some news, and we're going to wrap things up after that. We don't really have any listener feedback this week, but we got a good episode lined up for this week.
Great episode.
We'll see how great it will be once we're done. So,
Way to be optimistic.
so Ali, what have you been playing?
I've been playing Drive Club.
Vroom.
It was on sale on Amazon for
$5.
$35.
Oh, you paid $30 too much.
Oh, this man's don't got jokes.
I saw the Steam reviews on that game, and it was mostly negative.
because it's not on Steam. It's actually a really good game. It's for those who don't know what Drive Club is. It is one of the very few racing games within the past several years that actually features tracks and not an open world design. It is made by Evolution.
So it's like
Studios.
Mario Kart 8 then.
Oh yes, it is Mario Kart 8.
It's just like it
Just like
because
it.
it has tracks.
It does. and I mean
Genius.
a
course.
racing game that features real cars, by the way, because most of those games like Need for Speed and The Crew and Forza and then everything, they're all like, oh, we're all open world now, and it's like, I mean, really?
I haven't played one of these recent open world racing games, but I have played Burnout Paradise.
Yeah.
And the game wasn't bad,
Yeah.
but I just wasn't a big fan of the open world. It's like, oh, you can take whatever turns you want to do and, make your own track.
Actually,
I did not even care for that.
I really liked Paradise, but I liked, was it 4, the one that was before that?
Revenge.
I think that was 4, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because 3 was like Takedown or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Revenge didn't have a 4. It was just called Burnout Revenge.
This is a really good game, though.
I prefer to have a track that is like a solid design rather than make up your own.
I think open world has its place, but But the thing is, other than simulators like Forza Motorsport and Gran Turismo, most people are just doing that open world design, and it's annoying. It's just like, what happened to bespoke, like handcrafted tracks? And the thing is, like, all the Drive Club tracks are amazing. They're really fun, and you just don't see that in games anymore.
Because they're
You
not
know?
hiring level designers. That's
They're not.
why.
They're hiring map designers. Like that's been the problem with like Call of Duty games. It's like, oh, they're not balanced maps or balanced levels anymore because it's just like a map with like a bunch of buildings and stuff in it.
Don't talk trash. I'm putting in an application.
But
I put in an application for Treyarch, so don't
But,
talk trash.
just like, anyway, it's just been it's a really fun game. It's what they would call Simcade, which is like half simulation, half arcade. So it's more.
Oh, I played that game. It was like the sequel to SimCity, right?
Yeah. It's like it plays a lot like PGR though, like Project Gotham Racing. It in fact has one of the lead designers from Project Gotham Racing in the team. So yeah, I mean it's a really fun game. It had its launch issues, like there a lot of online problems, but that's all fixed now. And I got it after they had all the problems, so that's good. Stop whispering. What are you whispering?
I can't even hear him because he's talking in that
Yeah,
direction and
exactly.
he's whispering and you're talking. So his whispering is doing
like-
nothing.
Yeah.
I'm like Kevin's link is not.
Yeah, because I added it from mobile, so it doesn't really work.
But yeah, so the game
Okay.
has like, I mean, it's pretty sparse on content comparatively speaking. I mean, it's technically more than something Mario Kart would feature. It's got 50. It has 55 tracks.
So it is like Mario Kart.
No, it's got more than what. Oh yeah.
So
it's
you're
exactly like
you're
Mario
making
Kart.
the comparison.
Yes, exactly. So I mean, but it has 55 tracks, and then it launched with like 50 something cars. They're now up to like 60 something, I think.
Are those all free patches that they're giving out? Free cars and tracks?
The first several were free. I know cars going forward, they'll be part of like a season pass type thing,
Yeah.
but all the tracks will be free.
Okay.
So they're going to be adding like
At least they're doing the tracks.
Yeah.
Which I think is
the
most important
Yeah,
part
that
of
is the most important part.
Yeah.
They're going to add supposed to like I think 11 new tracks or something like that. So I think that'll be good. And they just did a patch for that includes like weather, which is like super fun. You saw it earlier.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
It does look really good.
I mean, this game's like fully dynamic, like day-night cycle. Like nothing is faked. Like all the clouds, like completely volumetric, and it's there's a wind and stuff, so the clouds move, and you'll never see unless you like set up a challenge. It'll save that like I guess you'll call it a seed. But other than that, you'll never see like two like sunrises or two sunsets that are alike. So
That's cool.
I mean they've faked nothing at all in this game. Like everything's
Yeah.
it's the real
Everything's
deal.
fake.
Yeah, everything's fake, and that's why.
It's all CG.
And but anyway, because they have that like mantra, that idea that they had going forward, the whole weather patch is that same, like you saw how awesome it looked.
Yeah.
All the raindrop, like I slammed on the brakes and like all the water from the roof of my car just started to slide down onto the windshield. And it's just, it's
Such
really
realism.
cool. Yeah, it is. And it creates such a challenge. And one of my friends who's over the other day, and I was like driving through the blizzard, and he was like, "What's the point?" And I was like,
What is the point? Why
I
do you
was
want to drive through bad weather?
"It's fun.
It's a challenge.
It's
What?
a huge challenge."
I hate driving through bad weather in real life, so why would I want to do it in the digital
So,
world?
because you're not gonna die in the digital world, and you,
If
but
you
it-
hate getting shot or shooting people in real life,
I love
why
doing that
do
in
you
real
do
life.
that?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Why do you do that in a
I
video
love
game?
doing that in real life. Have you ever gone paintballing?
But this is not paintball.
you
this is
hated
bullets.
you hated getting
That
shot.
was
in paint.
awesome.
You got shot
I
so
was-
bad.
I was showing my bruises with pride.
You're like, oh, this hurts. That pride in my butt.
I showed them off on video too. Come on now.
Because you wanted sympathy.
No, because
Yes.
I was proud. I'm a man now.
I'm glad it took only paintballing to make you a man.
Yeah, it's about time. So, anyways, that
Yeah.
we got on Drive Club.
Yeah, I mean, it's I've gotten like I think about midway through the campaign,
Mhm.
but there's like a huge online component, and like people set up challenges and stuff like that, and you like set up a club, and I'm facing directly at the mic.
You were like leaning away from it.
Okay. Anyway, so just there's a lot of replay, I guess, value or whatever you want to call it, because a lot of these challenges, they feature different things. People, they set their score, their time, or whatever, and then they set it through certain driving conditions. Like something during the night is a lot more difficult than during the day.
So it's kind of like ghost mode then.
No, it's not like Ghost.
So it's like Mario Kart.
No, it's not like. Yes. Okay. I'm gonna blue
First
shell
off,
you in the
every
face.
racing game is like Mario Kart.
Every game is Mario Kart and Staffa Land.
Yep.
It's like Call of Duty is Mario Kart without the racing component.
The Witcher 3 is just like Mario Kart.
Okay, yeah, that's my game.
All right.
Kevin.
I have been playing more Elite Dangerous.
Okay, thank you very
Surprise,
much. Let's
surprise.
move on.
All right. I mean, there's always much to talk about other than
Dang.
it's finally officially released. It's at version 1.02 now, I think, whatever patch they're on. But yep, it's fully released and it's live. It's happening. It's there, and I've been playing a lot of it. It's really fun. I like a lot of the
So what changes were made when they like fully released it? Like,
So
was
I
it
went
just
from-
stability or
it went from 500 stars to 400 billion stars. So they opened up the entire Milky Way galaxy now, finally.
Did they make it good?
Yeah, so it actually, I mean, it was already great, but it's even better now.
can you land actually at this time?
Not right now. That'll be an expansion later on.
Because I remember watching you live and you were having a lot of trouble landing inside that star station thing.
Oh yeah, that was a bug, a glitch where like the landing pad wasn't accepting my ship for some reason. But I mean, like that was 1 or 2 times I've ever had that issue, and however many hundreds of times I've landed somewhere.
Was that ship's name Robin?
Ooh,
Nope.
friend zone.
Burn.
So they
Sorry, I had to.
so they finally fixed all of the seamlessness of it. So like when you are going from system to system or going from Super Cruise to normal cruise, then there's no like stutter anymore. It just kind of feels like you're actually going through everything. They fixed all the animations, fixed all of the HUD.
How
elements.
fast can you go?
So far, the fastest I've gotten my ship to is 600 times the speed of light.
Is that Super Cruise?
Is that
That's in Super Cruise, yeah.
is that warp speed or is that ludicrous speed?
That's well, so
you said 600 times the speed of light?
So they have 3 speeds in the game. There's like 3 categories of
Cruise,
speed. There's
Super Cruise, then Tom
and then yes, exactly, Tom Cruise. It's
the DLC will have Penelope Cruz.
It's Mission Impossible.
Scientology.
So yeah, there's cruise, there's super cruise, and then there's warp drive or like warp speed. So warp speed you have no control over while you're in it. You kind of warp from where you are to the next system, and that you don't have any direct control while you're in warp. You just kind of tell where you're going to
So
go.
you're basically
So
making jumps.
It's like a fast travel.
It's just like
right?
a jump, yeah. But like you don't just like it doesn't just show a loading screen. So what it does actually is like you'll have to actually point your ship to the actual star, and every star in the game is an actual location in the game.
Mhm.
So you kind of
Hollywood stars like Tom Cruise.
like the ones
Yeah.
that you walk on the Walk of Fame.
There you go. Yeah.
So you point your ship at the star, and then you engage your frame shift drive is what they call it, and then that will launch you to the next star. And then, but you'll actually like have this like wormhole effect as that's where it's loading on the whole next
Yeah.
system. And so then you get to the next system and you're immediately in Super Cruise, which is your faster than light speeds.
Mhm.
So this allows you to go from planet to planet, from anywhere that's not within a vicinity of like just like if you're landing in a star system, like in a station, then you'd be in cruise, which you just normal speeds. But then in Super Cruise, you're actually going faster than light, or have the ability to go faster than light, and that's where you're traveling from planet to planet or going to, you know, find other anomalies through the system. And then once you find where you're going to, you exit Super Cruise so that you just travel in normal space. But while you're in Super Cruise and normal cruise, you have full control over the ship. But there are some things you lose while in Super Cruise, like certain thrusters won't work
So
because
it's like cruise control.
no, you can control everything except like your
No control. No cruise control.
no cruise control. I mean, there's
Man.
certain thrusters that won't work in Super Cruise just because you're going faster than light, so you can't like be very precise. You're just kind of going straight and
So this game is basically like Drive Club.
So it makes it like Mario Kart, right?
it's
So-
Mario Kart in space.
So
without
this is
the weapon.
basically The Witcher 3.
So A equals
Without a
B, B equals C, C equals D.
So every game.
Which postulate is that?
I
Or
forgot.
theorem,
What,
or-
I
don't
forgot
know.
what theorem. Yeah.
Everything is equal theorem. Let's call it that.
So yeah, it's all the seamless sections have been finally become seamless.
Can you crash while you're in Super Cruise mode?
Yeah.
Like if you're not,
Well,
it just be
the-
like.
so the ship, it's all explained through the ship is it's preventing that from happening. So like if you get too close to something, you'll get thrown out of Super Cruise, and it will actually damage your ship because you're not exiting Super Cruise safely. So what happens is like if you're going at Super Cruise and you're heading towards a planet and you don't avoid it, if you get too close, your ship will go out of Super Cruise, but your ship will start like tumbling around. So it's like really hard to gain
So
control.
how big is your ship? Is it like really huge, like the Enterprise, or is it like,
can have
or is it
multiple
like a,
ships?
or is it like a crew size, like Millennium Falcon, or is it like a single man size, like an X-wing?
Yes, to all. You can have multiple
All
ships.
so you can have like an Enterprise.
Not that big, but they do have.
So you can have like a
capital
Death Star.
ship- Not that big either.
Seventh
That's
planet flying around.
bigger. So
Super Cruise.
at
Just
the
run
time,
over someone. Beep, beep.
Hey, there's no sound in
there's no
space.
need to
You have to
move
you have to-
around ships, planets.
You have to
just
blink
destroy
your
them.
headlights.
Which is that laser?
just destroy whatever's in your way. But yeah, so you'll have multiple ships that you can get. At the time of launch, there's like 30 different ships you can get. 30 or I don't remember the exact number, but they're going to continuously add more ships, and some more ships, more stations, and then eventually you'll be able to land on all of the habitable planets. Then you'll also be able to land and walk around stations. We can currently land on station, like inside stations, but you can't leave your ship right now.
So it's gonna end up being like the Robert Space Industries game. What's it called?
Star Citizen? No,
Yeah, Star Citizen.
This is
it's not gonna be like that.
well, yeah, in that sense where you're landing on planets, but in Star Citizen, they are, I mean, they are creating specific areas, so you'll only be able to land like within a city on a planet, and maybe that planet will only
So
have
it's-
like one or two.
So it's more like No Man's Sky.
Yeah. So this is every planet that you can land on, you have the entire planet.
Is it going
to-
to be procedural?
So the way that this works is so what they did was wherever our star is, Sol, everything within 100 light year radius from Sol is actually based on NASA's actual astronomical
What's
data.
Sol?
Our star.
Our star is Sol.
Yeah, the sun.
Okay.
Our sun is Sol.
Why didn't you just call it Sun?
Because every star is a sun, and you have to be very specific.
But ours is the real sun, just like our moon is the real
Here
moon.
comes the sun. Da, 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 da.
So everything within 100 light year radius is actually based on NASA's data,
Uh-huh.
and then everything else beyond that is extrapolated from that data.
I thought NASA was bankrupt.
No, far from it.
I thought
They're
shut
getting
down.
more money than they asked for this next year.
Thanks, Obama.
Thanks, Obama.
But yeah,
So
so
Obamacare.
everything is extrapolated from actual data.
Socialism.
So it's not just 100% like procedurally generated.
Yeah.
But every star is actually there in game and using real data from NASA.
But when it comes to the quote unquote habitable,
Yeah, the planet stuff
Planets.
that will be procedurally generated. I'm not sure exactly how they're going to do that yet. I mean, because the idea what they want is, everything is 1-to-1 scale in the whole game. The entire Milky Way galaxy is 1-to-1 scale. If you can literally, if you could live for billions and billions of years, you could fly from one end of the Milky Way to the other in
Set your speed to the top speed of a Hennessy Venom and see how long it
Yeah.
takes to get to the moon.
you could do that. And
Exactly.
it would be realistic.
That's a really fast run.
But yeah, so they're doing the same thing with the planets, where the entire planet will be 1-to-1 scale as well. And you'll be able to fly within the atmosphere. You'll be able to land wherever you can land, and then you can get like ground vehicles and drive on.
Can you have like dogfights or?
Oh yeah, that's a huge component of it. Yeah. So it's technically built like an MMO.
So if I got this game right now and installed on this laptop, can I go to you and shoot you right now?
Well, I'm not
He's not online.
online right now.
What if I open up another window and log you in?
Yeah, we could fight. But I mean,
No, but it's only on I only have one laptop.
well, no, that won't work.
So like I can't like just shoot idle you.
No,
No.
no,
So this game's like EVE Online then.
not quite. There's still some differences, but I mean, it's EVE Online Lite edition. It's not quite as in depth with the economy.
So why would you want to play this game if this is a light version of EVE Online when you could be playing like EVE Online instead?
because
Is it Star Citizen going to be like EVE Online Lite?
Yeah, I mean, they're all space simulators. They're all very similar.
So Elite Dangerous is EVE Online Lite.
Not really.
It's
Diet edition.
caffeine free.
No, it's like Pepsi Next. There's some sugar in it, but there's some sucralose in it as well.
Or Coke Zero.
Yeah.
I mean, it still tastes the same, but no calories.
Coke
no
Zero,
sugar.
yeah, that's just all aspartame.
It's just a diet right.
But yeah, no, I mean,
It's a tab.
Star Citizen and Elite Dangerous they're incredibly in depth, but they have different goals. And I mean, they're both space simulators, so they may seem similar. They play similarly, but they have different goals.
I like
What-
FTL.
Well, it seems like Star Citizen's more of like, I don't know, like a culture. What do you
Like your sound waves are really small because you're talking that way.
talking?
After I moved you,
I'm looking straight at it.
go on.
I see where I'm
Go
looking.
on.
Anyway,
Go on.
Star Citizen seems to be more like a like space life type thing. Like it's more based on I don't
Well,
know.
there's also a difference in how they're played. So Star Citizen will be similar to online play in the way that Minecraft is. You can play single player.
Mhm.
You can set up your own servers and have other people join your server. You can join official servers, but I mean, there's not like a single persistent universe.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
not the Highlander.
What?
The Highlander.
There
There's
could be only
one.
No. So, but not Eve. Elite Dangerous. So many space games. But Elite Dangerous
is one.
is one persist. It's an MMO,
Okay.
but it's, so it's an MMO.
So there aren't
one-
multiple servers. It's just one.
Yeah, it's just the one server. I mean, it handles it similar to how Eve does, in that it's like it's virtual servers. So it's one mega server in the fact that the economy is all tied together. It's one
Okay.
database for the economy, but each sector of each system is its own instance.
Okay.
And I mean, you can be in the same instance as others. It's just when one instance is full, you get randomly thrown into another one.
Okay.
But you can join your friends, and if you're all in the same party, then you'll all be in the same instance.
So it's like Planet Side, but on a grander scale.
Yeah.
Because Planet Side has like different servers for continents, I think.
Yeah,
But
but
inside
but in Elite Dangerous, it's all technically like the economy is spread across. It's just one economy.
Yeah, Planet Side is handled that way too.
Yeah.
Well, like the persistence of
Yeah,
the combat, I guess.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
I mean, it's technically supposed to be like one mega server, but it's a collection
The
of
power of the
multiples.
cloud, right?
Yeah.
Xbox One.
Xbox One can't handle this game.
Jump in.
I can't handle. So let's move on.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. So I mainly read comics this week
I bought
because
comics this week.
what's that? You
I
bought?
bought some comics.
What'd you buy?
Batman Dark Knight. Bought the first 5 issues.
Oh, nice.
I was at half price and I found them there. I was like, oh, I'm buying them now.
Yeah, I went to I was on the north side of town. There's this comic store in Carmel that's going out of business, and basically their fire sale was if it's $5 or less, then it's $1. If it's more than $5, then it's 50% off.
Interesting.
So I pretty much
did you just like grab
bought
a
the whole
box?
store?
no, it took me a really long time because they basically had these in these long boxes I had to like sift through and to just see what they had. And I basically caught up on Future's End because I was buying it weekly. Well, first I didn't realize it was weekly. I just go to the store like once a month. I see a bunch of Future's Ends, and then I'm like, oh, this must be a weekly thing or something because they are updating this pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And I gave up on issue 8. It was issue 9. I gave up after issue 9 because the story was pretty slow at that point, and I couldn't keep up with $3 for a weekly issue that I wasn't really enjoying. But shortly after I started hearing that it started getting a lot better, so I figured $1 for an issue, might as well get caught up on Future's End. So I've been reading all those and getting catched up. I'm catching up on Future's End. But as far as gaming goes, I tried playing Far Cry 4 for a little bit, but I got really frustrated because of how
it's Ubisoft.
Yeah, it is extremely poorly optimized.
Didn't they release a patch for
yeah,
Assassin's Creed and it didn't do anything? Like I've heard
something like that.
Like the patch didn't really help. It was like a 40 gigabyte download for Xbox users.
Yeah, Xbox
7 gigabyte for PC.
The Xbox One version, they screwed up because they just packaged the whole
game as one
file. So people had to re-download the whole game to get the patch,
which did nothing.
Which
so just download the game again.
No, it didn't do nothing. So what the patch did, it ruined. So the game's been having frame rate issues because they claim it's CPU bound, but I just think it's them being terrible because a lot of the times when people just disable it online, because thanks to Uplay, it's always doing something dumb in the background, the frame rate improves considerably.
Yeah.
So they like it was dropping down to like 20, basically 20 FPS on PS4 and around there for the Xbox One, like 22 or something. So this patch on the consoles made the pop-in for they would reduce the rate of which NPCs pop in. So they don't pop in as quickly, so you end up running around and they pop up around you because they should have popped up in the distance.
That sounds disgusting.
Like everywhere, like you're running around and like 15 guys pop up around you and then you start bumping into them and stuff. And then they even added this a blue glow to the people that pop in to make it look like the Animus is glitching.
That sounds even more disgusting.
NPC pop in. It's not a performance issue. It's a feature.
So it's like Superman 64.
It's disgusting.
Yes.
It's Ubisoft being Ubisoft.
But this Far Cry 4, basically when I initially booted up, I went into the NVIDIA experience and chose optimize, and usually it does a good job getting it to a good area where I can just lower a few features after that, and then it's good. So I did that, and then when I got to the very first area where I can actually move around and look, I'm like, okay, let me bump a few effects down, and then it ran pretty well, but just in that area. And once I got to the actual shooting parts, out in the open, it just seemed like every time I got to a new area, it got worse and worse.
That game has a lot of streaming issues. There's a video I'll have to show you later. Some guy basically took the PS4 version. Well, he took all the Xbox One version, PS4, and the PC versions, and he compared them all. Because Digital Foundry from Eurogamer did their own like performance analysis, and he disagreed with it. And he was saying that it's not like a CPU thing or graphics processor thing. It's like a hard drive access thing. Because like anytime like you'd go around, like drive around or like gliding around anywhere, like the frame rate would just drop. And for some reason on the PC version, it was considerably worse, even though he was using like an ATI HD or 8780 or something like that. I don't know, something like that. 87, I don't know, whatever.
I mean, I have a GTX 790,
that's a pretty relatively high end card.
You have a 790.
Yes,
that's a dual GPU card. That shouldn't have any issues at all.
Yeah.
And I mean, anyway, he was using a card that was
780.
Yeah,
still, my bad.
Anyway, he was using a card that was more powerful than the PS4 version, and he had a CPU that's a lot more powerful than the PS4, but the game's performance was actually worse than the PS4 game.
Like it's just really frustrating because I did not have this same issue with Far Cry 3 at all.
And that game,
you know
really
why?
good.
It's because Ubisoft decided to release 5 games in 1 month's time.
It's just so frustrating that I had to like constantly lower different features. It got to the point where I completely turned off anti-aliasing, turned off God rays, I just turned off so many features. I put geometry on low.
Just turn off Ubisoft. That would solve everyone's problem.
I played like a couple hours of the game, and it's Far Cry 3. It's fun, but it's just so frustrating that I'm playing, and then the frame rate dips, and I gotta change things up again. And
what games did they release?
Assassin's Creed Unity, Assassin's Creed Rogue, The Crew.
Oh, Rogue was
Far
apparently
Cry
the good
4.
one. The good Assassin's Creed. The Crew.
Far Cry 4, and then they did another game that was like an older game that they ported recently.
And they released Tetris as well for multi-platform. On the PS4 version, it drops down to like single digits.
Really?
It's Tetris.
It's Tetris.
It's Tetris.
What?
It's Tetris.
People make flash versions of Tetris like every 15 minutes.
You know how I told you that like when you disable online for Ubisoft games, it runs better. That's how that game is. You disable online, like you disconnect your PS4 from the internet, and it runs fine.
I should probably disable online when playing Far Cry 4.
No, just whenever you're playing any Ubisoft game, just unplug your Ethernet cord or turn off your Wi-Fi. And
I don't have Wi-Fi, so I guess I'll just disable the network device.
I mean, just like this is why like I want to get Far Cry 4, but I'm not going to get it full price.
I didn't get it full price.
I'm boycotting Ubisoft.
I got it through Nuvium, which is a Brazilian website. So I paid $50 for it, but it was the gold edition, so it came with the season pass.
Yeah, other than Far Cry 3, I haven't bought a Ubisoft game.
I am so frustrated with that. I don't know how long. So I figured since I didn't really get enough game time with that, I want to try to play another game to talk about this week. So I tried playing Jazzpunk because I heard a lot of good things about that game previously, earlier in the year. But I got about an hour and a half into that game, and I had to uninstall. I am not playing any more of that game. It makes me feel sick.
I told you. You said I just got past that level. I said stop playing the game. There are some games I feel sick when I play. Like Half-Life 1, that makes me I want to hurl up my insides.
Just motion blur stuff?
No, there's not motion blur. It's
that game was flashing, I think.
We talk about Half-Life or
I was just saying in general.
Jazzpunk has low field of view that you can't adjust at all. The one level that really got to me, it had this, when a piece of paper, in the magazine has that 3D, the red, red blue 3D effect. The whole level was like that. It had that blue red 3D effect, and that's when it really got to me, and I felt nauseous and my head started hurting, and I had to like just lay down on my bed immediately. And then like after I laid down for a couple of minutes, I got back up and went downstairs, got me a Tylenol. Like that game was just making me feel really sick. I looked in the Steam forums. A lot of other people have been saying that's been making them feel sick. I posted myself, saying, hey, this game's goofy and I kind of like it, but it's a shame that I cannot finish this game. I refuse to finish this game because it makes me feel sick. And like, a person replied to me saying, yeah, a lot of people feel like they get sick after playing this game, even for like 10 minutes or so. One person on the Steam forum said he's not sure if it's the visuals or if it's the sound, because even him closing his eyes and listening to the game made him feel sick.
Far Cry 3. Stupid menu droning.
Whoa.
I had to mod that out because that was making me feel nauseous. What was the point of that? Like it could be like a.
It's like so you can feel the authentic power of the Tatao.
Oh my god!
But
Tatao.
that game featured a lot of drugs, so you felt like you were drugged. But yeah, it's for me being sick. It's field of view. Like Half-Life 1's field of view is absurdly low. I mean, you could change that in the console.
Yeah.
But when I first played it, I didn't do any of that because I don't know how old I was when I played it then, but I was much, much younger.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because you're like, if the screen is far away, it makes sense because basically your screen is supposed to be a window.
I went to the other side of my room where my bed is. I mean, like my room's small. Like if you guys, for the listeners, if you watch the YouTube videos where like Kevin and I are talking through just through the internet, you can see how small my room is just because of like you can see the back wall, which is like really close to me. So I'm like on the other side of my room, as far as I can be. And like even then, I'm sitting there trying to play the game on the controller, and I'm like,
once you feel sick though, I mean you have to like wait it out. You can't get back.
I tried playing it like after a while, like after I stopped feeling sick, I went back into the game, and I was like, I'm gonna sit, on my bed, play with the gamepad, and no, it wasn't working.
Some games, yep. Like there's a lot of things about Half-Life 1 that make me sick. It's like the motion doesn't feel, it's like too like artificial and that sort of thing, and you have that disconnect between your brain and what you're seeing. So
I tried playing Half-Life 2 on an Oculus Rift. That did not go well.
Yeah, I don't doubt it.
I mean, it's a good game, but the engine, like the way that it does its movement, and when you're using that with an Oculus and it's supposed to be, it's like that completely immersive. It's just you notice how different.
Now that I think about Half-Life 2's field of view was pretty poor as well.
Well, I mean, you have a setting in.
Yeah, you have a setting, but the default setting shouldn't be that low though.
Yeah.
It should be closer to something like 80 or 90.
Yeah,
but it's like defaulting to something like 60 or something like that, which is like
that's disgusting.
Like I mean,
ideally you want
for
full peripheral vision as well, because that's what causes motion sickness is when you don't have peripheral vision.
For console games, that makes sense because like 55 and 60
you're
is
further away.
You're further away.
Yeah.
But now that TVs are getting bigger, that's changing. But I mean, it's just I can't do it. It's just like people think that like a higher field of view always means better. That's not the case. It needs
specific to be
to a very specific to the size of the TV and how far you are from that. So if you're playing a PC game with like low, because you're missing that you're missing that peripheral.
Yeah, which is why once we get to the point where Oculus or just VR in general is mainstream, that will help greatly, because then you're not going to be limited to just what's in front of you. You'll be able to, like, even if you're moving forward, you're able to look up and around and see everything, and that will help reduce that disconnect between the game world and the real, like, your actual
just thinking of jazz punk right now is making my head hurt.
So we want to move on.
Yeah, let's move on. Like it's I'm getting like shell shock.
We spent like 40 minutes already anyway. Let's just go ahead.
PTSD.
from Jasper.
Have you seen that gif of that one dog with the cupcakes? Like the person puts the cupcakes in front of the dog, and they train the dog not to eat the cupcakes, and that dog's like face is like shocked or whatever, and then someone like does like that superimposing like flashes of like actual like Vietnam like images and stuff like that, and it keeps showing this dog and just like these flashes of Vietnam images. I'm like, that is terrible.
Wow.
So, anyways, Ali,
Yes.
do you enjoy the brisk wind going through your hair while driving on a nice and sunny day?
Is it sunny or is it brisk? Because when you said brisk, I thought of something more like fall.
Fall. Okay, it's a nice sunny fall day.
Nice sunny fall day.
Yes.
Well, I have allergies in the fall, so
Kevin!
I wouldn't have the windows down. Or anything.
Kevin,
Yeah.
do you enjoy chocolate?
Nah, sometimes. I don't know.
You guys aren't helping me at all.
He's allergic to cocoa. You should be considerate.
Ali,
Yes.
do you like kicking dogs in the face?
No.
Because you hate everything else. So why not?
Why would I kick a dog in the face?
Because you hate everything else.
That dog was already traumatized. It couldn't get cupcakes.
Kevin, do you like computers?
Oh yes, absolutely.
I love computers.
You like computers
I
too?
love computers. I don't like them. I love them.
Well, guess what?
What?
With DreamHost, this web service that offers unlimited bandwidth, unlimited storage, and user-friendly interface, you can get that service for $8.95 a month. Use the promo code OUTOFCONTINUES, no spaces, just OUTOFCONTINUES, one word. It'll get you a free domain registration, waive the setup fee, and then you can be on your computer doing all this stuff, setting up a website.
I love computers.
That's fantastic.
Thanks, DreamHost.
And you can spend more time with your computer. And then you can make a website about computers. Call it
Such meta.
You can call it tigerindirect.com.
Or oldegg.com.
Lion Indirect. Lion
anyways,
indirectly lays
let's,
the egg.
Let's move on and talk about some
Or
quick
directegg.com.
announcements. Some quick announcements. First announcement is iTunes. We could definitely use more iTunes reviews. If you use iTunes, we'd really appreciate that you leave a review, because a podcast on iTunes with any reviews at all, even low-scored podcasts, they're ranked higher on the charts than a podcast with no reviews at all. And Apple goes by a week-by-week basis as far as the ratings go on iTunes. So we'd really appreciate the help if you can do so. If you cannot leave an iTunes review for whatever reason, such as you don't have iTunes and you can't have access to it for whatever, or you already left a review, then you can still help out the show by sharing the podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, or any other forms of social media that you prefer. Would really, really appreciate the help.
I
Yes.
question that the statistics of that thing that you just said about iTunes.
It is
and
true.
The low,
It is totally true.
I mean, if a podcast has all negative reviews, it doesn't get listened to more.
There is no negative. The lowest score is 1.
Well, yeah.
One star.
It's okay.
is-
One's
is-
more
is-
positive than the other.
Yeah.
The thing
But-
is, when you search, you're going to get the stuff with ratings before the non-rated
Okay.
podcast.
Yes.
'Cause I was wondering, it would make sense if a podcast if it has low ratings, it still has listeners because people have to have listened to it to give it a low score.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
okay, but I didn't know that.
So-
It lists the ones even with ratings before.
Yeah, it's totally
Yeah.
true.
Yep.
So
iTunes is weird.
we'd really appreciate the help if you can do it. And thank you. The other quick announcement is next week It's going to be me. It's going to be Kevin over here. It's going to be Adam, who is the community manager of Out of Continues. The three of us are going to be doing our top 10 games of the year.
Game of the year. Game of the year.
And what we're going to do,
Exactly.
if you, the listener, hey, come on now.
He's having a
Yeah.
tune in the background.
I don't want to
Korea to do copyright.
Yeah. So, anyways,
I don't think that's a copyright song.
I don't think so.
so what was I gonna say? Anyways, if you, the listener, wants to join in on our top games of the year, send us your top games of the year to podcast@outofcontinues.com. Send us an email. If you have multiple games, you have more than one game that you want to mention, please don't give us a list that's more than 5 games. We're going to make that the limit because we don't want to, make that segment too long. But if you want to send us 5 games or less that you really enjoyed this year, it can be ranked, 5 to your number 1, or it can be just 5 games that you really liked. Whatever. If it was 3 games, if it was 2 games, if it was just 1 game, go ahead and let us know. podcast@continues.com. Feel free.
Mass Effect 3 was the best.
That didn't come out this year. It has to be a game that came out this year. That's the other thing. Don't give me games that you played this year but came out not this year.
Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah, I wonder if that would count because that was like a 2013
Sure.
game
If it's
and a 15 game.
If it came out on if it came out on the new consoles, if it's the new version, sure.
Okay.
I enjoyed.
I will accept that.
I don't think it was gonna be like, yeah, I enjoyed the older, non-great edition
But,
yeah.
of the game more than the.
But
than you
don't
would.
give me a list of games like Uncharted 1 and
Sonic
Duck
the
Hunt's
Hedgehog.
coming out.
Duck.
Coming out on Virtual Console.
Oh,
Does
man,
that count?
can you imagine Duck Hunt in like modern graphics?
No, because Nintendo's
They would-
never going to do it.
it would be Cabela.
Like,
So, anyways, let's move on and talk about our main topic, and that is our favorite things of the year. So, Ali, let's kick it off with you.
holiday pies from McDonald's.
Holiday pies from McDonald's. I had one, and I was like, this is too sweet.
It was delicious.
It was too sweet.
It's delicious.
It was too sweet.
Anyway,
I think it gave me diabetes.
if you have diabetes,
I think it gave it to me.
Liberty Medical can work with your Medicare.
I think it also made me dumber, too.
No, you had that before. So one of my favorite things this year is
I should not have cracked my knuckles right in front of the mic.
Yep.
I apologize, listeners. I'm a jerk.
yeah, just disgusting sounds of just.
I'm a jerk.
That's no worse than you like suctioning your eye and making fart sounds with it. Don't even know, man. I don't even know. Anyway,
Oh man.
one thing that I've liked this year is that it's
I'm trying to imagine what the listeners are imagining when you said suctioning my eye. I'm trying to put myself in their shoes.
well, put yourself in their shoes when you make that sound in the first place. Anyway, my favorite thing of this year is that I think we've finally hit next gen or this gen, because earlier this year and last year,
We're still beta testing though.
like that's what it all felt like. It was, I mean, it was mostly ports and like not even that good ports, and
Yeah, there were way too many ports from like just one generation over to the next. I don't.
Well, I mean
understand
that happens every generation. That happened with
I think it was
Xbox.
more this time
Like,
than before.
yeah, like,
There was a lot more
I
than
feel like
just-
this time it was mainly games that came out like a year and 2 ago. Like I mean, Sleeping Dogs just came out.
That game was not a good port. That game actually it does not run. Like it looks a lot better,
Like,
but it still drops to like 20
In like
frames a second.
last generation, it was basically like you'd have the two different versions come out at the same time, and the generation before that too, like on PS1 and PS2, you had like Tony Hawk.
Mhm.
You know, you had both of those came out at the same time.
Yeah.
This time it's like, hey, let's grab a game that came out recently. Let's
because you had Sleeping Dogs Definitive Edition, Tomb Raider Definitive Edition, Last of Us Upgraded Remastered Edition, and then there was.
let's not dwell too much on this because
Yeah.
there's a news topic that ties in with this.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So I'm glad that we've finally gotten to that point where it's just kind of like getting out of the system. So I'm happy because like just even right off the bat next year we're gonna have a lot of huge titles, and I'm really looking forward to it.
It seems like this year the Wii U finally has some games that are like worth playing, but at the same time
Well, wait till next year.
they're still extremely lacking on like a catalog of games to warrant just having a Wii U. Like it seems like
they'll never get to that point.
yeah, they'll never get to that point because they don't have the third party support. But like if you just want to own a Wii U, then too bad, so sad for you. Your options are very limited. But like if you have something else and a Wii U, it seems like there are some pretty cool games that are on there that you can actually enjoy this time around.
Yeah, I mean, like unless you're someone who doesn't play games that much and you just want a console just to once in a while to play a game. I'm sure.
Yeah,
Nintendo has something, but if you consider yourself to be a quote unquote gamer, then yeah.
Gamer.
But I mean, I'm definitely planning on getting a Wii U. I'm just waiting for them to release the Legend of Zelda edition that comes with the new Legend of Zelda game.
Yeah.
You know what was awesome this year? Flappy Bird, flap flap.
Was that this year?
Yes, that was totally this year.
Oh man,
I actually enjoyed that game.
that game wasn't good.
That game was terrible.
It's not
I
good.
enjoyed it.
You like terrible games?
It's a terribly designed game.
Okay. Flappy Bird. As far as Google search results go, it was this year that more people searched Flappy Bird than people searched for ISIS, Ferguson, and even Frozen. Frozen the movie.
What about all those combined?
When all those combined, probably, I don't know. Like, look, Frozen is so popular that when I worked at Amazon warehouse, like every single aisle had something Frozen. Like one of the two princesses was somewhere in every single aisle. Like Frozen was freaking everywhere. That's how popular Frozen is, and more people search for Flappy Bird than Frozen.
Staffa, just let it go. Don't push me away.
You're done. You're done.
You're done. You're fired.
Get out of my face. Flap,
Took me a minute, but I was like, wait. Flappy
Bird.
What about you? What about you, Trey?
One of the things I'm, excited for is Unreal Engine 4. It hasn't really been utilized much yet, but there is tons of potential for that engine. So just that being released this year is something that I think could lead to.
That is a good point because, lately I've been, doing the tutorials on Unreal 4 because, like I told you, time to get back to work on that because now I'm jobless again.
Mm-hmm.
We got a project going on, so I'm going through the Unreal 4 tutorials. It is an excellent engine. It is very powerful, very
versatile.
Clean, very versatile, clean interface.
Mm-hmm.
Blueprint is very nice.
Yeah.
I mean, they so many games are using Unreal 4, like the new Guilty Gear game that just came out yesterday.
Does that use Unreal 4?
Yes.
New Street Fighter is.
Yeah, the new Street Fighter 5 is using Unreal 4. I think the Guilty Gear game is more impressive because it actually looks 2D.
Yeah.
Like they're doing a
shows how versatile it is.
Yeah, it is a very powerful engine that UDK had the power, but like it was very unstable.
Yeah,
And-
the development tool itself was terrible, but like Unreal 3 was a great engine and
Mhm.
one of the best visually, like in my opinion, the most visually amazing game is built in Unreal 3. It's Vanishing of Ethan Carter, and they pull that off with Unreal 3. But
The thing is, a lot of the
that's all more on the development side rather than
Yeah,
using the development kit.
yeah.
I personally think Crisis 3 is the best looking game still for me. I really like how Crisis 3 looked.
Because Vanishing and Ethan Carter, they scanned a lot of materials because the way the shaders.
Oh, so it's like Swapper.
Sure. I know what Swapper looks like, but I don't know if did they actually scan an
Yeah.
object. Oh, okay.
They totally scan stuff
Okay.
because none of them are artists. So
Oh,
they're like, we want this game to look good, so we're just gonna scan.
Scan
We're gonna
it.
scan this tin can and make it the spaceship.
Yeah. But yeah, they scanned a lot of things because like Unreal Engine 3, I think the way it handles shaders is kind of weird. Like you could tell when the game was
Unreal 3 was great with its lighting,
Yeah.
I think.
Like, well,
But-
not only that, but like a huge issue with Unreal 3 or UDK was that if you're making anything other than a first or third person shooter, you're gonna have a lot of issues.
You're gonna have a bad time.
You're gonna have a hard time making a platformer or anything. Like
Yeah.
with Unreal 4, you got so many options. You can even make mobile and web.
Yeah, Unreal 4 is currently my favorite engine.
Very solid.
Followed by Frostbite 3. But yeah, I mean, Unreal 4, just the things that they can accomplish with particles and lighting and meshes in that game or in that engine, there's tons of potential. And I'm excited for that being released this year. And I'm looking forward to many games. Like even another game that I backed on Kickstarter called Planets Cubed is they switched from whatever engine they were using before, I think Unity, and they switched to Unreal 4. And for those who are not familiar with Planets Cubed, it looks like Minecraft, but you'll be able to leave the planet and explore other planets. So I mean, kind of like Starbound. Like, so what Terraria
is the level? Oh, okay.
So like what Terraria is to Minecraft,
Okay.
Starbound is to Planets Cubed.
Okay.
So you'll be able to.
I understand now.
Like, it looks really nice too. Like it visually looks like Minecraft where it's cubes, but I mean they have more than just cubes. Everything's angled too.
Oh, okay.
Like here, I can pull up a screenshot. If I want
So
to.
is gravity singular, like in one direction?
No. So I think the way that they have it is actually the planet is cubed.
Okay. Oh,
And-
so when you go around the edge, you like gravity change.
Yeah, I don't know how they're doing that. I mean, I can pull up screenshots, but like it's still very far from completion. It's like
Yeah.
pre alpha right now, and like they're not even releasing. Like they delayed they were going to do an alpha release for the people who backed the alpha level.
What's it called again?
Planets Cube.
Planets Cubed.
Planets Cubed.
Like they were planning on releasing an alpha for it for the people who backed the alpha level of the Kickstarter, but they delayed that because they don't feel it's ready yet. So, but yeah, so they switched from whatever engine they were using before. I can't remember exactly which one it was, but they switched to Unreal 4,
Yeah,
and it
uh-huh.
looks. I mean, it's cubes, but like the things that they're accomplishing with just lighting is amazing in that game.
Yeah, Unreal Engine 4's lighting is really
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah,
It's because everything's moving to like physically based.
Yeah.
They
Mhm.
call it PBR or something like that.
You know,
physically
like
based rendering.
it's kind of in a way for me, it's kind of unfortunate of how good Unreal 4 is right now because I specifically upgraded my computer to Windows 8 so that I can use Project Spark, and I have not touched Project
I
Spark
have
at
not been
all.
able to get Project Spark to work.
Oh, you haven't? I have.
I haven't tried it in
I booted it up, but then I was like, I could be doing Unreal 4 right now.
That might be an older video.
Yeah, it looks.
I don't
it
think
looks
that's
like it's
their. But that was before they switched to Unreal. Go to
Yeah.
just search like their website
Mhm.
or like whatever forums they have set up, and like look at their recent developments there, and it looks beautiful. but yeah, like I tried using Project Spark couple months ago, and I couldn't get it to work, and then I just never tried it again.
Yeah, I wish I spent more time with it because I used it a little bit in GDC. I did a demo and it was really cool. It seemed very user friendly. It was for people who knew like nothing about programming, and it can from the tutorial that like it walked me through, it can pretty much teach somebody the basics of programming without actual script, but like the logic of programming. So
do you think that maybe like Blueprint in Unreal 4 or Kismet in Unreal 3 would be also a similar thing? Because I mean it is, you're still going through the logic, but you're just not
it's similar, but
code.
like it's Project Spark is easier.
Okay.
It is more more user friendly.
I'm interested in trying it. I'll try it again to see if I can get it to work. But last time I tried it, it didn't work for me at all. But yeah, I'll go back and see if I can look into it again.
One thing that like was announced this year and just came out that was like a pleasant surprise for me was Velocity 2X.
Yeah, I love that game. It was really fun.
Yeah, like I got Velocity Ultra either late last year or early this year, and it was a really cool game because I got my PS Vita Black Friday last year.
PS Vita.
PS Vita. So it was I'm pretty sure it was early this year that I got Velocity Ultra, but Velocity 2X, I remember it just got announced this year, and then it like came out like a couple months later.
Yeah,
and that was a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, it's a really enjoyable game. I liked it quite a bit. Oh, my turn.
I mean, you guys got anything you want to talk about? Because I can't really think of anything.
I got another thing I'd like to mention, but you can go ahead.
Oh, you go ahead first.
I've been pretty excited that space simulators have been on the rise again. Because I mean, space simulators are back. They were popular a couple decades ago, 2 or 3 decades ago, but over those last
decades ago,
like over the last couple decades.
What are you talking about? Like the 80s or 70s?
Like back in the days of Freelancer and Wing Commander, and those were back in the 80s. Yeah. But yeah, I mean,
were there space simulators like in the 90s and 2000s?
There were, but not many. Like, nothing notable. Because space simulators were huge, and then they just dropped off, the map, and nothing's been really done in the space simulator area until recently. I mean, Star Citizen's out, or Star Citizen's in development. Elite Dangerous is out. No Man's Sky is in development. Ever since Star Citizen and Elite Dangerous have been announced, Steam has been blowing up with space games, and it's awesome to see all these space games coming back, because that's my one of my favorite. Sci-fi is my favorite genre, and
Sci-fi.
Yep.
Sci-fi channel.
Yep. Yeah. So I mean, it's exciting to see all the space sims coming back, and that's kind of what Chris Roberts and David Braben wanted. Was they didn't want to just create their games; they wanted to spark the revival of space simulators and space games in general, and they have. It's an exciting time for space sim fans.
That goes kind of into what I was going to say. I mean, indie games have been big for a long time on PC.
Yeah,
but I'm glad that their space in console gaming has finally, I guess, arrived.
Yeah.
I mean, it really started taking off late last gen. PS3 was they were pushing a lot of indie developers, but because the hardware was still weird and they were limited to certain dev environments, or because the one that came free with like a PS3 dev kit was Fire Engine, which is Sony's like in-house thing that they had. But now, I mean, like this this year alone, in terms of indie games announced just for the PS4, there have been like 47 indie games that have been announced for PS4 that have, that have not been announced anywhere else. So it's like, people are these guys that, work in their garage, these garage developers or in their basement or whatever, their, room, they're finally getting the tools that they need and the face time that they need to get these like self-published games out.
Yeah.
Like No Man's Sky is I forget what their what the team is called.
Yeah, I can't remember either.
I think
Joe Danger.
Well, it's Joe Danger. They made the games, but I think it's like Smile Games or something like that.
Joe Danger smiles at you.
Sure. Anyway,
across the
so
street.
like No Man's Sky is being made by 4 people.
Yeah.
And but they have the tool, like powerful enough tools and environment and hardware to be able to make this type of stuff, and it's also in part of things like Unreal Engine 4.
Games.
Hello Games.
Yeah.
Their icon's a smiley face, I think. But anyway, like these development tools are getting so much easier, but they're not becoming less limited.
Mhm.
They're becoming more and more robust. So you're seeing all these new game ideas. Like Jonathan Blow is working on The Witness, and that game looks really good. I mean, I love the puzzles he had in Braid, so I'm excited to see what he does in this. And I'm just really hyped to see, like they're kind of filling in that spot of the B tier games to some extent. It's not just like big budget games and little budget games. Because like Ubisoft, EA, whatever, they're still having their big budget games, but they're filling in that gap.
Yeah.
The $20 to $40 game range, which I'm excited to see.
Mm-hmm.
With you mentioning Jonathan Blow, like that kind of reminded me that this is also the year of social media outbreaks. We have Phil Fish. Straight up,
Was that this year?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was this year that he said that he quit.
Quit the game.
Social media.
Oh,
he's quitting Twitter altogether.
probably for the best.
We have the paranormal activity person who threatened Gabe Newell,
Yeah.
and then we have the
Such a good game. I was upset about that.
I didn't care for it.
It was a funny game.
And then you have the complete mess with the whole Gamergate thing. Gamergate, that complete mess. So this year was just, it was like the year of emotional people getting emotional on social media.
Trolls getting trolled.
Like social media is like the worst nightmare for people who are emotional.
Yeah.
Don't touch it. Just
I commented on like something David Jaffe said, and then some guy started like, David Jaffe was talking about like the Sony hack or whatever, and I made a response and something like that, and some guy responded back, was like, he said something stupid, I don't remember what he said, and he said, do you need me to explain to you, he said something like welcome to the internet or whatever, and I was like, dude, you're the one that responded to me. You felt the need to like, he wasn't even in the conversation beforehand, but he felt the need to like go on his like baby outburst and like comment on the topic, and I'm like, no one's talking to you, go away. It's just, people are just dumb.
Yeah.
That's
exactly.
the best way to put it. People are dumb.
Yeah, pretty much.
I keep telling myself not to start debating with strangers online because it leads to nothing productive.
Emmy's the best version.
But I keep doing it.
Yeah.
Well, are you debating with people on Reddit?
No.
Oh.
Well, it was really weird. I was making a comment about, so one of the tech blogs that I follow made a post about Windows, and I made a comment on it, and then some guy just responded with
Like,
it was a mess.
So what version did he say was the best?
Windows
I don't
ME.
know. He wasn't really talking about any
It's
version.
just kind of like just verbal diarrhea.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I also have the same issue, but like I feel like I'm getting better as far as telling myself like, okay, like when I get responses on YouTube, it will send me an email saying, hey, someone replied to your comment. I don't know why I haven't turned that off yet, but like as far as like people giving me really dumb replies, I'm getting really better at just telling myself, don't reply, and you are the winner. If you reply, you have lost.
I don't do it often anymore, but I used to go to 4chan quite a bit, and it's amazing to see how YouTube comment section is actually often worse than 4chan. And 4chan's fully anonymous.
Yeah.
And like some of the stuff you see on like YouTube comments, I'm just like, I feel dumber. Like that's all I could say after I read it.
Well, some people are straight up like their icon and name is specifically to troll. Like they have like some celebrity or something really dumb like God, and they have like a picture of Santa Claus. Like, that is literally something I saw today.
There's someone. I think there's someone called like Feminist Warrior or something like that. It's got a picture of a woman, and it's like, oh, you male patriarchy, so and so. It's just like just the time you take out of your day to even make these parody accounts, just they're not even funny. Just go away.
Yeah, I was making this was another thing. It was like a huge debate, and then like at the very end, this one guy's last response was like, you obviously know nothing about technology. And it was like me making talking on a tech blog and making, posts about things that were in the article.
I love it when people that don't know about technology talk about technology.
Yeah.
Let's steer this back.
Yeah.
Let's steer us back. Favorite things this year.
Man, what was I gonna say? On a little tirade right there.
Yeah.
We all did. Because you brought it up. You brought up like social media and stupid people.
Well, that was it was an amusing thing of this year.
It wasn't a favorite.
What's that favorite thing? That's no favorite.
It was an amusing thing about this year.
I do not like this post.
I find it entertaining to see Phil Fish go all Phil Fish. So Ali, what did you like about this year? Since you're not gonna be here the next week, you're not gonna be doing your top 10. What you like? What you like?
I've got some things, but like I don't know if they would count because like I just got a PS4, so but I want to say
congratulations.
Like yeah, I want to say like current gen is like my favorite thing of this year, but that's like only, I mean, not just relevant to me, but other people that hopped in this year. But it's been such a massive change in terms of what games are offering and stuff like that, and I'm enjoying it quite a bit. And like you kept on talking about Shadow of Mordor, and I'm looking forward to getting that. Yeah, it's just like all these like new games that are just so much more above what last gen could offer, and I don't know. I've been like ever since I got it on Black Friday, I've been super hyped. So,
what, the PS4 or Shadow of Mordor?
PS4. I haven't gotten Shadow of Mordor yet.
Okay,
but I'm hyped for that. So basically, current gen, finally catching up somewhat relevantly to hardware. I haven't had my own PC in a long time.
One thing I liked about this year is it seems like none of these games have come out yet, but it seems like there's going to be a comeback of old school gun arena shooters.
Mm-hmm.
Like we have that Blizzard's Overwatch game that got announced.
Yeah.
We have Cliff Bleszinski's game that got announced. We have Unreal Tournament. We got probably some other thing that I'm forgetting about.
Battleborn. No. Whichever one, whatever.
The Gearbox's game?
Yeah.
Battleborn is more of a MOBA. Speaking of which, I mean those like
MOBAs are,
like first person / third person shooter MOBAs also seem to be, a lot of them got announced this year too. You got Battleborn. You have what's it called? I think it's called Giants or something like that, or Gigantic. That's what it is, Gigantic.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't pay much attention to MOBAs.
Like I liked
Really
Mighty Night
great.
Combat, and if there's something that can replace that in my life, please
I
do
think
so.
I think MOBAs are the one genre that I've paid least amount of
You
attention
play
to.
tons of League of Legends, man.
Can I say something that's not my favorite?
Yeah.
Free to play. I've downloaded several free to play games, and I would rather have an option to buy.
A lot of the free-to-play games that I have played have actually been pretty good.
I've been playing War Thunder.
I haven't played that one.
It's an amazing game. It's like World War II simulator, like plane simulator type thing. There's also a tank mode, I think.
That sounds
But
cool.
but like the PS4 version, like the developers even like programmed in support for high end like joysticks and stuff, like flight sticks. So, and there's like mouse and keyboard support. So I mean, it's really like the simulation's pretty high end, and like if you take a couple shots, that could bring you down, or if your pilot gets hit, you're dead or whatever.
You said War Thunder?
Yeah, War Thunder. It's on PC, but yeah, it's a really fun game. But I can't help but feel that a lot of it is held back by free to play. And it's like, and I was like looking at bundles, and I was like, well, if I'm gonna do a buy option, I'll see what their bundles have, and then like, they've got stuff ranging like from 30, they've got the cheap, nickel diming type stuff, and then they have like the huge bundles, and like even the stuff that are like $40 bundles, they're not worth it. And like the only thing that's like really starts to get worth it is like the $80 bundles, and it's just like I don't want to spend that much money. Like I would rather just buy a $60 game, have this like, I don't know. I mean, I understand they want to have an entry point, but like why not like have it free to play and then a buy option?
My equivalent of War Thunder would be Magic 2015, because when that game came out, I mean, like the one thing that like they were advertising was, we're finally giving you what you guys want, and that's the ability to make your own decks. So rather than like the previous games where it was like, here are these set decks where you can customize within 100 cards or so. Magic 2015 was like, all right, here's all these cards, make whatever you want with it. And the game came out, it was like $10 new or something like that. And on top of that, you have to unlock all the cards yourself by grinding through the game, which personally I thought that was fun. But some people might not have the time to do all that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like another additional $10 or so to unlock those cards. Plus, there's like $26 or so worth of premium booster packs, which are cards that you cannot get by grinding through the game. You have to actually purchase these cards. So like at the end of the day, somebody can be spending like $50 on this game. And then they relaunched the game last month, and they're like, okay, here it is. You can unlock every card, even the premium cards.
So the people that threw down the money are just like,
for those people who threw down the money earlier, they basically gave them the DLC expansion for free, which is a $5 DLC.
Yeah.
Wow.
So like
Your troubles are worth $5.
Yeah, there you go.
The issue was like, okay, they made the game a more appealing game when they relaunched it, but they already pooped the bed. So like the really hardcore fans who who are like bought the game day one or week one or month one or whatever, like those people are a lot more bitter about it. Plus, the game is just a mess compared to the previous years, because I mean, other than the fact that you can build your own decks, which is awesome. Everything else about the game is inferior. Like the game crashes a lot more. Like I did not have crashes with the previous versions. Other people did, but like I have crashes on the new version. A lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
The game doesn't have Two-Headed Giant anymore, which is a mode that a lot of people enjoyed because they can basically play co-op.
Mm-hmm.
Two-Headed Giant is basically 2 versus 2.
Yep.
And I did a lot of that with 2014 with my friends. Can't do that with 2015 because they took out that mode. You cannot rematch a person that you just went against online because there are no more lobbies. Like basically, you go against somebody. You cannot select. Basically, you make a lobby.
It's basically like
you
matchmaking.
select a deck before you make a lobby, so you cannot select a deck within the lobby.
So you can't say what deck everyone else is
Well,
selecting.
you weren't able to see other people's decks in the previous games anyways.
Oh, okay.
But you can't change decks while you're sitting there waiting in the lobby. When someone enters and you start a game and you finish the game, it takes you back to the main screen, the main menu. It doesn't take you back to the lobby. So are they
Nintendo? Like, do they not know how to do online?
They used to have online, but like the game is a mess now. I don't know if it's because they're working on what's it called, Carmageddon. I don't know if it's because they're working on that project and Magic at the same time, and Carmageddon's taking a lot of their resources, or if they're just
you'd think
I
they'd
don't
be
know.
able to
If
use
Ubisoft can handle 5 games, I'm pretty sure they can handle 2.
well, they've been porting the previous Carmageddons too, because within this year alone, they ported Carmageddon 1, Carmageddon 2, and then Carmageddon, I don't know what it's called, TCG or something like that. Like they ported 3 Carmageddons as well as working on the new Carmageddon and Magic. So that is 5 games. That is 5 games.
You know what the answer is? Just play Hearthstone. It's on tablet too.
Hearthstone just really frustrated me because I would get so far in the ranks and people would tell me, "Oh, just play casual mode." No, I want to play ranked. I want to play against people who are the same level as me. Yeah. And like I would get so far up to in the rankings, and then I would like hit a glass ceiling and cannot go any higher. In fact, it would make me go down a little bit, then back up. Like I'd pretty much get to this one level because at a certain point
you don't have good enough cards.
Yeah, the people I'm going against have legendary cards that I do not have. And I keep hearing people say, "Oh, the game's so balanced, you don't need those cards. You can make good decks without them." It's like, if I don't need those cards, how come those people are using them?
Oh, I mean, that's the whole, I guess, appeal of trading card games is that you can.
But you can't trade. You can't trade.
Well, okay, fine. Collectible card games, or card games. It's that
Trayhan with a double reevaluation. There you go.
I mean, that's the whole appeal is that you don't need them, but the fact that you have the option to have them and you can build your deck in that manner, that's kind of the whole point. But I mean, I've seen some decks that are just the normal, like the one that I'm playing most with right now is the Hunter deck, and like I found a build online that's basically just cards that you unlock up to level 10.
I heard that they super nerfed the Hunter because of the Unleash the Hounds. Became like.
Well, I haven't had any issues yet. That's the class that I've been using
the most. They made it more expensive.
I don't remember. Maybe they.
Well, no, it's not Unleash the Hounds. It's the Vulture, the one that like lets you draw a card every time you play a beast, because it used to be like 2 mana. And now they made it like 5 mana or something like that. Something ridiculous.
It's more than double.
Yeah, so like really changed up the game for the Hunter.
Gonna have to figure that out.
I really liked the Hunter. He was really fun. Like overall, I think Hearthstone's a very fun game. It would be one of my favorite games if it wasn't for the fact that I like would reach this glass wall that would frustrate me, because these people have legendary cards that I cannot do anything about. It's like, oh, this dragon is a 12/12 that literally kills everything else on the screen, and I'm out of cards. What am I supposed to do now?
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. See,
So-
five drop.
Yeah.
Back to favorites.
Yes.
You have another favorite? Anyone? I do.
Yes. Go ahead.
Oh man, I forgot it. What was I gonna say?
I have one. Oh wait.
What was I gonna say? Oh, okay. I remember what I was gonna say. Like sharing, like video sharing.
Uh-huh.
Like, people can, and NVIDIA released. Well, they initially had they have Shadowplay, NVIDIA, and then Steam just did their. I forget what their thing was called. And like Sony at the launch of the PS4, they have their thing, and then Xbox One has their thing. And so, like anyone that wants to share their video of like what they were doing or what they were playing, like almost anyone could do it now.
Yeah.
And like because of that, we're able to like enjoy things like PT, like when people were showing videos of the playable teaser that Kojima released on the PS4, like everyone was like, this is amazing, because like it was, not everyone would like to play that type of game. I don't. I to be honest, I'm a scaredy cat when it comes to scary games. I still haven't beaten Amnesia, The Dark Descent. So
It was Amnesia was a good game, but the ending was worthless.
I don't care about.
I've never gotten to it. So, but just like it's, you're able to experience these really cool things without having to have a bunch of extra hardware and stuff like that, which I've really enjoyed.
I liked Lego the movie.
That was a good movie.
I liked
Spaceship.
Godzilla.
Everything is awesome.
Godzilla
was a great
awesome.
movie.
I still haven't seen that. I need to see it.
Godzilla was awesome.
I'm like always behind with these movies.
There was like the movie kind of false advertised, like it had like 2 seconds of Bryan Cranston and 3 seconds of Godzilla. Like I believe it was literally like somebody timed it, and it's like literally 20 minutes of Godzilla in the entire movie. But it was still an awesome movie.
It was good. The parts that Godzilla was in made them were amazing.
Like I wanted to.
Those were the best
I wanted to
parts.
stand
They
up
were.
with my arms up at the end. It's like, ah, God,
Gojira.
freaking Zilla,
Oh, get on.
King of the Monsters. I wanted to do that. Like it was.
That was a good movie.
It was Godzilla.
Mm.
Captain America 2.
Haven't seen that yet.
I haven't seen the first one yet. I need to see it. Nothing has it on like Netflix doesn't have
I
it,
know.
and like I swear.
It's
Like-
not on Redbox, because usually Redbox they would put out. Well, it probably wouldn't be there anymore. But like when the sequel of a movie comes out, like they usually stick the first one, the previous one for a little bit at Redbox. Still gotta see Guardians. Haven't watched that
Oh
yet.
my gosh, best Marvel movie ever, hands down. No question.
Did you watch that like last week or the week before that or something? No,
What?
you.
Me?
Yeah.
No, because it wasn't out yet.
Oh.
that day that I told you I was gonna watch it, it
Yeah.
wasn't out yet.
Oh.
I thought it was out because I saw it on the shelf at Amazon.
Oh.
Apparently, it wasn't out yet. I was like, "Oh, it's out. Okay." No, it's not.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna want to see that because I feel I need to see the Avengers as well. I haven't seen that.
Oh, really?
I haven't seen no.
You didn't watch it?
No.
I'm pretty sure Megan was there when we watched it, and was she there and you weren't?
Maybe I don't. I did not
I
see
don't
it.
think so.
I did not see it. I've not seen it.
Um,
I'm like way behind on movies.
you know what's awesome this year? Flash. Flash is awesome.
Oh man, that is I really like that show.
Flash.
You need to watch Agents of Shield. Have
I'm
you been watching
trying. I'm trying. It's
it?
just
You're still early on, aren't
it's
you?
so bad right now.
Like early on, it's really slow in the beginning. But
I
like
just
once you get past episode 9, you'll be fine.
I just finished the episode where the two guys did the thing in Russia.
I don't know which episode that
Uh,
is. I know.
It's like episode 5 or 6
Yeah.
or something.
I know what they did in Russia, but I don't. Okay, 5 or 6. Okay, yeah, it gets a lot better. Like
It's on.
It's
Netflix,
it's
right?
nice seeing that.
Netflix
It's nice
and
seeing
Hulu,
that
yeah.
some of the characters show up from the Marvel movies,
Yes.
like
it gets
the
better.
the bald dude with the glasses that the chick shot the gun at. Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah, this
what they call it, the night gun or whatever.
Icer gun.
Oh, the Icer gun. Okay, well, like that bald guy that
Yeah.
she shot. He's in Agents of I mean, not. He's in Captain America too.
Mhm.
Episode 11 of House of
Oh
Cards.
God.
Three Chum.
Oh, you
Why?
remember which episode number it is?
Yes.
I am
It was-
so sorry.
Because I remember telling you guys.
You're like,
Get
catch
to-
up. Get to that
episode
episode.
11. This is so
Uh,
crazy.
And then
What just happened to my life?
I was just like, what? And you're like, did you get to it? And I was like,
Oh man, I understand the character development aspect of that, but it was just totally unnecessary.
really? Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
Legend of Korra had a similar ending going on, but more.
It had a three.
No,
Yeah, the
no.
three chum?
No, had a,
Wow.
had a two,
Isn't that like a kid's show?
had a two chum with two female characters, but they didn't quite go all the way. But you could they're pretty obvious about it.
Push
It was-
it to the limit.
Like I mean, it's like because it's on Nickelodeon, they didn't go all the way, but
I'm surprised they went anyway.
well, like they it was pretty much to the point where if like a grandma was watching it, that she'd be like, "Oh, they're just really good friends," because they're like holding hands, but they're like looking into each other's eyes. It's like, yeah, that's pretty obvious what you're doing here. Game of Thrones, awesome,
I haven't seen up to. I'm not caught up with that.
dude. Adam caught up with it, and he started from episode 1. He started from episode 1,
Yeah, I
and
started.
he caught up.
I have seen the first
This
2
year.
seasons.
Isn't that on
He-
HBO?
He started
that was
this.
HBO,
He started a
wasn't
few months ago.
it? What channel was that? HBO?
Yeah.
Yes.
It has to be because it has all those boobs in it.
Yeah.
So, I've not seen any episode of that.
I was trying to read the books, and then decided to watch the show because I was peer pressured into
Why
it.
you wanna read the spoilers? That's what you're doing. You're reading the
No, it'd
spoilers.
be the other way around. Watching the show is the spoiler for the book.
No, there's plenty of stuff in the book that don't happen. That don't happen. And then
At season one-
Stop! You're confusing yourself. Stop. That happened. That don't
that,
happen.
yeah, that happen in the. There's things that happen in the books that don't happen in the show. So there you
Yeah,
go. The books spoil the show.
No,
Yes.
I'm sorry you think that way. But anyways, I was trying to read the books, and then I was peer pressured into watching the show. So I watched the first 2 seasons, and then I was like, no, wait, I want to read the books. And then I started reading again and got through a little bit, and then something happened. What was it? School? Yeah, capstones. And so I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna be able to have.
Speaking of capstones, my favorite capstone is this game called Beware the Bully. You can find it at staffahassani.com/Beware the Bully.
Good segue.
It's not biased at all.
Nice little,
Fox News, fair and balanced. Anyway,
Anyways,
yeah,
that's,
yeah, we're done.
yeah. Let's,
You know what my
let's-
favorite thing about 2014 is? That it's almost over,
It is.
and that 2015 is coming around.
This month
Like-
blasted by.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
I
that,
thought it
I,
was
I don't
went by.
realize. Like, it's hard to feel like that next week is Christmas.
Like I
Well, this
felt
whole year went by
like-
really fast.
like November felt like it took forever, and then like it felt like December started yesterday. It's already almost over.
It's been flying by for me because I got a new job and
Yeah.
we're making like we're starting massive projects. Like
Mhm.
January 1st, I'm gonna have to be available for like 24-hour support while we
Oh,
bring
wow.
Bloomington in for our go live project.
Wow.
Oh my god. The nice part is they're putting us in a very, very nice hotel.
That's good.
I need a job. Anyways,
Moving on.
that's my least favorite thing about this year.
Well, I mean, the way I would say that was because, at least in the gaming world, nothing significantly good happened. Other than, I mean, like the best games were probably like Shadow of Mordor.
If you work at a game studio and you know that you need a game designer or a level designer, hit me up and let's talk. Staffa at adacontinues.com. Tweet at me at Sayed Staffa, SAYEDSTAFA. I need a job. Come on, bro. I got a portfolio.
Post this on LinkedIn.
It is on LinkedIn already.
I need a job, yo.
So, anyways, let's go into news.
News.
First news I got.
We have a lot.
Yeah, we got a lot.
So let's try to...
Hatred. Okay, we talk about the Hatred game, which is basically
I hate that game.
Yeah, it hates you.
Screen share.
What's that?
Screen share.
Screen share. Yeah, we totally need to do that. Let me get this.
Push it to the limit.
Whoa! What just happened? That just moved.
What did you just do?
Let me move that back. Let me go. Hey! Don't let us get sued.
Copyright by violation by North
This
Korea. It'll be
one.
North Korea.
All right. So
They own
Hatred.
everything, right?
That's we talked about this a few weeks ago. There's this. It's a game where you just shoot unarmed civilians or ill-equipped cops. Looks like a top-down shooter.
So Grand Theft Auto 3 or 2.
Also, there's a possibility that the development team are neo-Nazis, or at least racists and bigots. There's a possibility, or homophobics and Islamophobes, or any of the above. There's a possibility. No 100% confirmation on that, but there's the possibility there. Anyways, so they put up the game on Steam Greenlight, and it was when it got to like number 7 on the charts. Basically, Valve pulled the game from Steam Greenlight, and then the next day, Gabe Newell stepped in and was like, "Hey, this is not right. Let's put it back." And then he personally apologized to the dev team, and now it is currently number 1 on Steam Greenlight. So it is definitely getting the green
All
light.
that viral marketing that Gabe did for the game.
No, it was all intentional. It was all planned.
It was all planned. Gabe's a neo-Nazi confirmed.
Does that mean we get Half-Life 3 now?
Confirmed.
So, just to reiterate what I've said before about the game, like I don't feel offended by the game itself, but as far as like the potential, like if the potential of the developers actually being, hate, people from hate groups, that is what bugs me about the whole game itself. And because
it would bother anyone, but they still have their First Amendment right.
Yeah. I'm not saying that they should not release the game or have jobs. I'm saying, like, me personally, I would not support this game because of that fact. Yeah. Especially if they are Islamophobes, because that's me personally. Yeah. I am a.
You're a Muslim?
I'm an Islamist.
You're an Islamist.
That's like the dumbest term that gets thrown around. Islamist. What the heck is an Islamist?
I feel like BBC says that. Like, I don't think I hear Western.
No, they say it like on Fox News.
Oh.
Islamist.
Well, Fox News says whatever.
So
they want.
anyways, but as far as the game being pulled from Steam, Greenlight, I don't agree with that. Like
red light to that idea.
It's this kind of reminds me of when like Valve pulled that one dating sim that had the nudity and sex in it. Do you guys know what one I'm talking about?
That one was violating their actual terms. Of
Okay, so
usage.
they have terms against.
They can't have
nudity.
any pornographic games or games that depict sexuality or like sexual like graphic sexual content. I think
I don't like.
I'll have to look that up on like if they have
I'm not sure. I'm
terms and
like
conditions.
I,
But
that I could see that being their terms and conditions, but I don't see why.
because they can't put any games that would be rated adult only
It's
on their
okay, so it'd be
service.
rated adult. But the thing is, like PC games don't get ratings. Like if a game just comes out on PC, it does not get a rating. Like ESRB does not rate digital games. Like and they only rate
Right, but-
PC games that get on store shelves.
Retail.
Yeah. I mean, like okay, like the game Mount Your Friends, where you
Yeah, that game.
have guys wearing speedos, but you can clearly see their ding dongs just flopping around like
Ding dong,
windmills.
ballywong.
Like it's literally moving
That's
around.
clearly
It's
the
worse.
guy's bone.
It is worse than the Dead or Alive poop physics. It is worse than that because you can like actually see. You can actually
the penis
see it.
is
Yeah.
doing circular motions.
Yeah, it is like they're waving hi to me. So like how so a game like that is allowed, but like a game
But that's
with
not.
a game with still images of intercourse is not allowed.
Wait, there is that line. There's no nudity in Mount Your Friends. Yeah, there's suggestive content, but it's not.
Very
Very
suggestive.
suggestive.
But it's not like straight on full, graphic.
Hey,
nudity
they're
with-
mounting themselves.
but not.
Mount my friends.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, they're friends
such
too.
a-
They're more than just friends. They've been mounted.
I've never.
So
If any of my friends tried to do that, I'd punch them in the throat.
but what I'm basically saying is, to me this it feels like it's a similar situation, with them pulling the game, but except with this one is just because the game has controversy behind it.
Yeah, I mean,
As
like this
far
one
as
makes
the
sense
violence.
because this was, it is protected under First Amendment rights. I mean, I guess all of them would be, but there's nothing. Well, the problem is like you can't clearly define like what is too much violence. You can define what is too much
only a
nudity, and
subject.
but you can't define what is too much violence.
Like,
Like too much nudity is no clothes. You can clearly see parts of the body that probably should not be revealed. But in violence, like that's all subjective.
well, I think for the nudity aspect, it wouldn't be is it too much or is it appropriate. I think
Appropriateness,
appropriateness
is also that's
would be the debate.
Yeah,
like
that's the one that's
is
questionable.
because some people believe nudity is fully appropriate, which
Right.
Sure, it's fully nude technically, but
Mm-hmm.
anyway, that's just all semantics.
Yeah,
at
and that's
that
why
point.
they don't allow any. I don't know if it actually is.
And technically they're not. They have the First Amendment right to make the game, but they don't have the First Amendment right to be on Steam because
Well,
that's
yeah.
Steam's call.
The First Amendment doesn't really protect them because they are Swedish.
Well, they'd be.
So like the First
They're
Amendment has
releasing
nothing
the game in North America.
yeah,
But
I mean,
like
they're
what
probably-
I'm saying is, as far as the development of the game goes, like
Yeah.
that has nothing to do with them since they are located.
Wait, I mean, like they
in
could
Sweden.
still pull it off Steam, but still release it. I mean, like that's something they could easily do. They could sell it on their own website. But
Yeah.
I mean, in order to distribute through Steam, like they're still distributing through North America, which I guess it would fall under our laws and restrictions. But I mean, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know these.
You're not?
No.
You're not. Oh,
Man,
well.
not know that.
Overall, I feel like I kind of feel bad even like talking about this game because like I feel this game gets more attention than it deserves because one, the violence is not really like if you're offended by this violence, you should be offended by
A lot of games.
Yeah, a lot of games. One, two. If you're a fan of this, like I don't understand why you're so excited for this game because it looks like a top-down shooter. Like when was the last top-down shooter that I remember really having fun with, as far as this style was Alien Swarm.
That was a fun game.
Yeah, that was the last time I remember.
I don't think you can generalize an entire.
But
all top-down shooters are bad.
But
that's not.
I'm not saying they're all bad. I'm just saying like I can't remember the last time I mean I can remember, and that was a long time ago. When did Alien Swarm come out? Like 09, 08?
When my computer's still
when your computers were still working. I don't remember when that was, but that was a really long time ago.
Yeah.
And it's just it's not that great of a genre. So why all of a sudden is this genre getting so much hype just because of the fact that it's
I don't think it's getting so much hype. I think it's just a vocal minority. I mean, just any vocal group can make something seem better or worse than it actually is.
That one zombie game by Housemarque.
That's Dead Nation. Yeah,
Dead Nation. Like I played that and played like 2 levels of it because I didn't really care,
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my final words.
Next thing.
Next thing, if I can click on that, there we go. Evolve. So we got several things to talk about with Evolve. First of all, let me bring up the notes from me so I can see them real quick. Okay, so the beta. Let's talk about that real quick. They announced Xbox One open beta on January 17th, and that's going to go until the 19th. PC players will have a limited technical test on January 16th. PS4 players that were in the big alpha will be able to go into the beta on January 17th. Also, I'm assuming that's until January 19th. So, if you have any of those 3 platforms, you should, there's going to be plenty of opportunities to play that game, before it comes out, try it out. Kevin and I played it, and we had a lot of fun with it.
I quite enjoyed that game.
And it's supposed to have, I believe they've said 4 hunters and 2 monsters inside the beta. I'm not sure. I can't remember. So the other news that came out is that, which I have on the screen right now, is they announced a new monster type. I believe this is the 3rd monster type that they've announced, and it is called the Wraith. And it's going to be a flying monster. It's going to be more stealth-based class. It's capable of has less toughness than the other ones. So like it dies more easily, which that's why it's more of a stealth thing because you don't want to get hit. And it has like a decoy. So basically, it makes a double of itself, and then it goes invisible like a ghost. And so basically, you leave that decoy and you go the opposite direction that the decoy is going.
So it's like Zero from Borderlands.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, I'd imagine it would have to be more elaborate because Zero on Borderlands is kind of
lame.
Yeah, it's
well, I mean,
if you try to do it to if you try to do it to a real person, they're like, you're obviously not there.
Yeah.
So.
Zero was the lamest one. I should not have chose Zero. Necromancer was the best.
Necromancer.
That's the same thing. I said that.
No, it's not.
I totally said Necromancer.
I don't know.
You just have a cold, so all your N sound like, or M sound like N.
Yes.
Assassin was pretty good. Anyway, that's a different topic.
Yeah.
Different topic.
But yeah, I personally, I'm excited to play it again, especially with these new classes in. And
yeah,
you too.
Yep, definitely. When it says limited technical test, so they're not actually opening up beta for PC then, or what's the deal with that? And also, like, if we were in big alpha, do we get beta access still, or
like the article did not have much detail on that.
Console Lights are beta testing for PC gamers once again.
Yep.
It was mainly talking about the Xbox One because Xbox One did not have the big alpha or something.
Yeah.
So. No, they didn't.
No.
It was the PS4.
Yep.
So I'm not too sure about the details on that, but there's definitely going to be, the possibility of being able to play the game again. So that's going to be cool.
Yep.
Let's move on.
Yep.
Let's talk about our good friends at Telltale and Mojang.
So Mojang or Mojang?
It's Spanish. It's Mojang.
Mohang.
Clearly. It's Mojang.
Clearly.
So, Minecraft Story Mode was announced, and they announced it with like this flash game, which is kind of clever.
Mhm.
It was basically designed like, you know, your modern day Telltale game, and basically, what they say, this is okay. So it's going to be like a story about Minecraft. It's not going to be. Do I have? No, I do not have any notes on here, so I gotta look at these notes. So they're basically saying it's not going to be about the origin of Steve, and it's not going to be bloody or adult like Telltale's recent games.
Yeah.
Like Walking Dead, Wolf Among Us, Game of
Oh
Thrones,
yeah, mostly
Borderlands. It's not going to be like those. It's going to be more
kid friendly,
family friendly. Family friendly. It's for the whole family, not just for kids.
Is Telltale going to release a game about solitaire next? What about a ski free?
Oh man,
It can happen. I mean, like I'm assuming this deal's going on because of Microsoft.
I just think this is.
I'm willing to give it a chance.
I'm gonna give it a chance.
I'm not
but,
going to
like,
judge it right now because I like Minecraft. I like Telltale.
I mean, how stretched thin is Telltale gonna do? Like,
I think, yeah, my issue with this is, I think, on Twitter we had this conversation,
Yeah.
but like I think that Telltale is probably caught up in their success, and they're just probably taking on too much that they can work.
a lot of people joked about Heavy Rain not being a game, but honestly, the Telltale games have been less game than Heavy Rain is. So, I mean, yes, The Walking Dead, like I only did season 1, I enjoyed it quite a lot.
But the thing about, I mean, there's a major difference between those two games. Walking Dead and Heavy Rain is that Walking Dead has a lot of focus on dialogue, while Heavy Rain, like I remember there's very few times that there's dialogue, and it was really weird too. Like it would have the words like really fuzzy moving around their head and stuff like that.
Not all of them. It depended on the situation. A more
Yeah, like,
tense,
if
more
they
tense
were-
situation was
But
more.
I mean, like it was a very different as far as the structure of those games. I mean, Heavy Rain had a lot more quick time events, while Walking Dead season 1 and season 2 and Wolf Among Us. I don't know about Game of Thrones or Borderlands because I haven't played those yet, but those games are much more heavy on the dialogue.
Heavy Rain had a larger puzzle mechanic
Yes.
as well.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Well, I mean, for me, like Telltale, I think they're just doing too much, and I don't want them to fall into the same issues that like Ubisoft is going through right now, where they're just trying to release too much at the same time. They're trying to push out constant, nonstop games, like every month something comes out from them, and I mean, like EA was in this problem too, where they were making decisions that just didn't really help them in the end, and yearly releases, or in Telltale's case, monthly releases, is not necessary. And they've already got, they're in the middle of Walking Dead, they're in the middle of Wolf Among Us, they're in the middle of Borderlands, they're in the middle of Game of Thrones. Now they're going to be in the middle of Minecraft. And
Well, that's 3 projects right there that they're working on. Borderlands, Game of Thrones,
Wolf Among Us, Walking Dead.
Wolf Among Us is done. Walking Dead is done.
It can't be done. There's
going
to be a whole second season of
the-
Wolf Among Us.
I mean, at least those seasons that they've been working on.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that they're not
like
working.
they're still gonna be
they
out.
haven't announced when those are coming out, so I don't know if
But
they're
it's
working
still
on those
going into
currently.
pre-production.
Most likely
or-
they're working on that.
it's
Right?
it's in pre-production.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
they're going to be working on it. They're going to have people
Yeah.
brainstorming on.
But I mean, like as far as what we know for certain that they are working on right now are Borderlands, Game of Thrones, and Minecraft.
And how many people do they have?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Like I know they've been growing
Yeah,
as
they
a
have
company,
been. They
but
like
still,
they
this is too much.
they are. I believe what I heard was like they're 4 times bigger than what they were like 5 years ago or so.
That's to be expected. But
Are
what
their
they
sales that high where they could do that? Is it
You know,
sustainable? That's the question.
when I first saw this announcement, the very first thing I did was I went to their website to look at their job postings because I was interested in seeing if there was an opening that I can apply for.
Probably,
That was the very first thing. I sent you that link yesterday.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yep.
You know, the environment artist, because you know that's something that you do. But there was no entry level game design position. They had a game design position, but it was a senior position that they want, you know, somebody who with like 5 to 8 years experience and at least 3 AAA titles or whatever, something like that.
Yeah.
So it was definitely not you know, for me, but that was, you know, I'm there with you. My first reaction was to see if they are expanding, to see if they had job openings. So I am also concerned about whether they can handle all this, but at the same time, I have not been disappointed with them since Walking Dead.
Well,
And I do have an interest in playing this game.
yeah. I mean, like the thing is, like from the time with The Walking Dead, that was their only project, and then they announced that they were going to do Wolf Among Us, and then that was like, okay, 2 games. That's normal.
Well, they did have another time period in which they had multiple projects going on at once, and that was when they were working on Back to the Future and Jurassic Park.
Yeah, but this is now 5 games, like because there's Wolf Among Us, like I said, Walking Dead, Wolf Among Us, Borderlands, and then Game of Thrones Borderlands and Game of Thrones were practically announced roughly around the same time. It wasn't like they released one and then had a little bit of buffer before they announced the other one. It was we're going to do this and we're doing this, and then they just kind of released them. Like it's like, how do they actually have the time to do this properly? Or, I mean, I don't want them to sacrifice. Like so far, out of the ones that I've only played, Walking Dead and Wolf Among Us, and Wolf Among Us is my favorite of the 2. I don't want them to abandon that one, thinking that okay, we can just be done with it now just because we've got more.
I don't think they would just abandon it just because they're done with it. I mean, like they would have some kind of a contract with Warner Brothers because Warner Brothers owns DC, which owns Vertigo.
Yeah. Well, I'm just stating my fear that I don't want them to take on more than they can, because we've already seen companies do that. Double Fine, Ubisoft. EA has it in the past.
Tim Schafer.
Yeah, well, Double Fine.
Tim Schafer.
Just Tim Schafer. But yeah, like,
Dennis Dyack.
I like what I.
He can't do one project. Don't bring up Dennis Dyack in this conversation. He can't do one project. Something wrong with him.
Phil Fish. Now I'm just naming off names.
Naming off people you don't like. Anyway,
I mean, like I have no reason to be upset with Telltale either. I've enjoyed what I've played, but I don't also have any strong connection for them, or I guess if that's the right word to use. Like, yeah, I enjoyed their games, but I still have question. Like, I'm still questioning their decisions to do this. Yeah, it's not like I'm fully in support of this.
I'm going to keep an eye on them if they have any openings. Like, I have an inside person.
Yeah.
Like, I am totally going to jump on that. Anyways, let's move on. Let's talk about our good friend and fan of the show. Fan.
You know they would not be.
Big fan.
These people talk about Nintendo poorly all the time.
That is racist.
Nintendo.
That is so racist. I apologize to all my listeners.
He apologizes to you personally, Miyamoto.
Yes. And to
Miyamoto. I was doing Iwata's.
I'm apologizing to all of them. They all look the same.
Please understand.
So anyways,
directly to you.
So anyways, the viewers did not see you do that.
I know they didn't see me. Just doing it for you.
So anyways, Miyamoto, he discusses quite a few things. Firstly, the Mario movie that we talked about last week. That Sony Pictures, like they pretty much what they do. They got
hacked.
Other than that, Sony Pictures, they got the rights to, or they acquired the rights for a Mario movie, and Miyamoto is trying to shut down that. He's trying to say it's a rumor and saying that a bunch of companies try to a bunch of companies come to Nintendo to pitch another Mario movie.
Maybe it was just something that happened early on and then never happened. Just never came to fruition.
Because it's from what I mean. I don't think that announcement last week was from the hacks. I think it was an actual announcement. So I don't know. Something's fishy. That's one.
Phil Fish.
Yes. So number 2, what was the other thing? The amiibo cards. So there was concern about amiibos because amiibos are in very high demand and very scarce as far as getting them. And he talked about how game developers other than Nintendo can use those amiibos with their games, but the issue was brought up that what if a certain amiibo does a certain thing in a certain game and there are only so many of them, and that would leave players unable to actually use that feature or ability in a game. So he basically mentioned that there's going to be amiibo cards for pretty much as a substitute for amiibos that are no longer in production or no longer available at stores.
I don't know. I don't like the idea of that. It's like, if you're gonna do this thing, make sure that, like, either make sure people know that it's a limited run, or have enough supply for the demand,
or just treat it like a collectible card game. I mean
that's how Skylanders treats it, because they do have limited Skylanders.
Yeah, let the people trade. Let the people do their own.
Yeah, because like
for those things.
I think introducing like these multiple formats of these amiibos is kind of, I don't know, it's weird.
And like Miyamoto, like from what it sounds like, they are going to stop production on so many amiibos and make production on new ones. And it's like, where does it start? Where does it end? It sounds like they're just, I don't know, like Mario is going to be always available. Link is always going to be available, but other ones like Villager is going to be available for like a month or so and never again.
Lucario's exclusive to Toys R Us, so it probably won't be in production for long.
Don't even know who that is.
It's a Pokemon.
Oh,
Pokeman.
It doesn't even sound like a Pokemon name.
He was in Brawl.
It's a he.
It was in I don't know. It was in Brawl. It was like Mewtwo. It was like a Mewtwo character.
Oh, okay. Anyways, I don't know. It just sounds like a mess what they're doing with it. It sounds like they don't really know what they're doing with the amiibos, because they talk about how developers can do whatever they want with an amiibo. And
it's like, what developer's gonna take the time to make that though?
Yeah, it seems like a mess saying, hey, you can use this Mario amiibo to do something in your game that has nothing to do with Mario.
But then they're doing all these crossovers now.
While Skylanders and what's it, Disney Infinity, like those figures do very specific things, and they pretty much have a strong supply and release new ones every once in a while, as if it was like DLC, and usually clumped together in a theme. Like, for example, Wreck-It Ralph people would all come out together. You know, the
Wreck-It.
Frozen people will come out together.
Yeah.
You know, Guardians of the Galaxy, they would all come out together. You know, they would come out together as a theme and not like, hey, we're going to stop production on Wreck-It Ralph alone, and then we're going to start production on Elsa just for the heck of it.
Yep.
You know?
Anyway.
And the final thing that Miyamoto talked about was new console. And he's like, yeah, of course we're working on one. And it's like, yeah, of course they are working on one.
Of course they are.
Better not be called Wii something or
the new Wii U.
Oh god, if they do that, I'm gonna be.
If it's the new anything.
Yeah, the new N64.
The new,
the new GameCube.
the new Nintendo.
I'm getting shell shock again.
PTSD.
I feel so depressed now because you mentioning that, it's like I know it's gonna be true. They are gonna call it the new Wii U, the new Wii, the new something.
They better not call it anything like that, and they better not give it a stupid name. They better just call it.
Oh, it will have a stupid name. It will.
They've been naming things stupidly for the past
decade. Yes.
GameCube made sense because it played games and it was cubish.
It was
The DS was a dumb name, but like we got used to it.
It makes sense because it meant dual screen.
Yeah.
No. They like Iwata was saying that it could mean anything. It could mean
He's just saying that.
He was saying it meant dual screen or developer system or dumb stupid.
He's just saying that because he wants to sound mystical and it just makes him sound dumb.
Dirty Sally.
Dirty South.
Yeah, but it's dual screen. That's the
like
obvious.
But I also feel like we got used to it because it wasn't nearly as dumb as some of these other names that they
Wii
Wii
U, Amiibo,
new 3DS.
New 3DS.
God, why would they do
They had from the DS. They had DSi, which was like another model, and then they had the 3DS, and then
the DS
they
Lite.
They had the
2DS.
Yep. And they had a 3DS XL.
3DS XL,
Remember
DSi XL.
when the Wii was called Nintendo Revolution?
Yes.
That was a good name. It made sense.
Yeah.
Because what they were doing was revolutionary.
Yeah.
It was new.
Mm-hmm.
It made sense.
And then they're like, Wii, and then the eyes look like two people playing games together.
Yeah, we call it Wii because we are playing together.
Okay. Anyway,
let's move on. This is the topic that I said we're gonna go back into. Talk about remastering of games that are last gen into this gen.
So many
DMC.
definitive editions.
DMC, Devil May Cry, and Devil May Cry 4 are heading to PS4 and Xbox One next year. So DMC, Devil May Cry is going to be coming out March 17th for $40. And Devil May Cry 4 sometime during summer 2015. It's the definitive edition of DMC Devil May Cry will have all the DLC, including Virgil's Downfall campaign, which is actually pretty cool. I like that one. Personally, I really liked DMC Devil May Cry. Never played Devil May Cry 4.
I could understand the DMC one. I don't really understand the Devil May Cry 4 one.
Yeah, because
Devil May Cry 4, I believe, was 60 FPS on last generation.
They're
I
just milking it, obviously.
DMC was 30 FPS, but this new version is going to be 60
your dad's
FPS.
calling.
Yeah, he is.
And
you want to step out the room? I mean, is it important?
he can text me if it's important.
Okay.
Anyway, and from what I understand, they're also redesigning elements of DMC. Like they're adding manual target locking as well.
Oh, okay.
So they're changing some other things as well, I think. But
I mean, on top of that, the PC version of the game looked very clean and sharp, and I'm pretty sure that it's going to look, this PS4 and Xbox One version is going to pretty much be the PC version of the game.
Yeah.
But it just comes off as Capcom needing the money.
Well, Capcom does need the
Yeah,
money.
they do need the money. So they're like, oh, let's get the last two Devil May Cries and re-release them, and it gets clumped in with all these other re-releases that I feel like I'm getting tired of even hearing about them. Like, okay, Metro Redux, it made sense because they put a lot of work
And
into
they're actually redoing the entire engine for the original Metro game.
Yes, and they were also fixing gameplay issues with Metro 2033 that were fixed in Last Light, such as stealth.
And it came with both of them.
Yeah, it came with both of them. Like stealth was impossible to do in the first game. Like as soon as you kill one person, even if it was a quiet kill, everybody would immediately know where you are.
You could be in the pitch black and they would have no flashlight, and then they'd know where you are.
Yeah, exactly. And you could have a silencer, headshot, clean kill. Everybody will know where you are after that. So they fixed that in Last Light and Redux. They took all those. It sounds like I was watching the trailer. It sounded like a lot of things that they put a lot of work into. With Grand Theft Auto 5, they put a lot of work into that. Did they put a lot of work into Last of Us?
No.
It just sounds like they just improved the frame rate.
1080p, 60 FPS. They had a small team working on it.
Yeah, you got The Last of Us.
They said that was mostly for people coming from Xbox to PlayStation.
You have Tomb Raider. You have Sleeping Dogs. You have whatever. You got like a bunch of these re-releases all over the place.
Yep.
Calm down. Let's see some new games. New games, baby. You know what I'm talking about?
First, people were complaining about sequels. Now people are complaining about remasters.
Hey, a sequel, at least that's a new game.
Sometimes.
And if these feel lazier than the re-releases that Wii U is getting. Wii U, it's like, okay, they got Tekken, what was it, Tekken 6? Tekken Tag 2, but at least they were adding those stupid Mario things in there. Like the jumbo mushroom and whatever. Batman Arkham City, despite it being a poor port with bad frame rate, at least they added the new costumes and
so you get an armored Batman.
Yeah, armored edition.
It's not the same game.
That wasn't really a remaster either. It was being ported to a new console.
That was just a port.
Ninja Gaiden 3, they actually made the game good.
I think they fixed the camera issues. I think.
Well, like they Ninja Gaiden 3. I remember when I was playing the demo of Ninja Gaiden 3. Yeah. I turned around. I was on my chair and I turned around and I was just mashing buttons. And you're telling me I was still winning.
Yep.
From yeah, that's how bad it was. I wasn't even looking at the screen and I was still winning. From what I understand, they put a lot of work into Ninja Gaiden, whatever Blade Edition, whatever it's called, into like actually making it a challenging game.
Like it wasn't challenging enough. Ninja Gaiden in general is challenging.
Well, Ninja Gaiden 3 was stupid.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't even looking at the screen and I was still winning.
Yeah.
So those ports that Wii U was getting, a year or two late, those sound better than these ports that are coming right now.
And they're not even like, it's not like they're bringing it to a completely new audience. It's just new generation, and
yeah,
it's most of the people who have had, most of the people who they're going to be selling the game to have already played it, because they've used to come from that same console, just a previous generation.
Yeah.
So they're just trying to milk money from the people who've already bought the games. They're like, oh, it's just so much better because it looks nicer and it's newer.
Yeah.
But it's the same game, and you get to relive those memories.
Relive those memories from a year ago.
Yeah.
So let's move on.
Nostalgia has lost all meaning.
Okay, so from this report, Microsoft's building a game streaming tech called Arcadia, and I don't really know the specific details. Do you know, Ali?
It just sounds like
Yeah,
they're
Gaikai, or not Gaikai, but PlayStation Now.
It's just the same type of
Yeah,
technology.
PlayStation Now and I'm having a brain fart. What was
forgot the other one?
OnLive.
OnLive. Yeah, that's how that's how good OnLive was. That we're having trouble remembering what it was called. I mean, like neither of those two, OnLive or PlayStation Now. I haven't used either of them, but I have not heard good things about it from people who have used them.
Who, OnLive or
OnLive or
both of them?
PlayStation? Yeah, PlayStation, especially PlayStation Now. I've heard worse things about PlayStation Now.
I use PlayStation Now. It worked.
It worked.
Yeah, it worked.
I heard that there's input lag.
Oh yeah, there's definitely input lag. I mean, but it's not that major. I was playing God of War Ascension. Then again, I was doing it on my Vita, and I was up in my room, which is from the farthest point from the.
And that's the other thing is like you can't always just like if it doesn't work, it's not always just Sony's fault or OnLive's fault. It's you have to make sure your bandwidth is also up to par to do that stuff.
But
I mean, it's not.
I don't see why Microsoft is investing in this when like OnLive and PlayStation Now are not successful.
PlayStation Now, like they.
Like no one is like I don't hear like a parade of people online saying PlayStation Now is amazing.
It's only available in North America though. And well, actually, I think it's still technically. Is it still technically beta?
But okay, let me put it this way: like the Wii controller that made a bunch of money for Nintendo, so it made sense for Microsoft and Sony to try to copy it, with Kinect and Move, try to get into that crowd. Where like what audience is Microsoft trying to tap into with this service? It does not make sense because there's not like a huge crowd that loves this type of service.
It's not a huge market, but the thing is, it's a profitable market. They're not releasing physical games. Everything runs server side, which Microsoft does have the server. Well, they don't have GPU-based servers. They have CPU-based servers. So they'd need to expand for GPUs, which I'm sure they would do in the future anyway. But it's something they could stream to people. Sony's using it as like a rental type service. They're making money off of it, and I'm sure they want to use it for future applications as well. Like I think Amazon has this thing or something where they stream like different programs to you. That's basically a game, except like you don't have to have these things client side for it to work.
I've used streaming programs before. Have you used that with when we were at school, the IU Anywhere?
Yeah, I used it a little bit.
I used it a little bit just to see how it was. I did not like it at all.
I mean, you're comparing a campus to worldwide, companies though. Like one campus with unlimited server capabilities to, Sony uses mostly Amazon.
I just
servers.
I don't see why who
services
a great
services
idea.
bring in money. It's not a physical product. Services bring.
They have to invest their own money in not only the servers and all that,
stuff
but
they could use in the future.
They have to put in the work into like making the service even work to begin with.
If they're not going to use the servers for PlayStation Now, they're going to use it for PlayStation Network. So that's the same thing for this Arcadia and Xbox. If they're not going to use it for streaming games, they're going to use it for Xbox Live or any other Microsoft service.
And they don't have to develop this from scratch. I mean, there are probably tools out there that have this service built in that they've probably acquired or are like these are open source tools that they're now modifying to their own use.
Sony bought Gaikai.
Yeah.
They had that technology on point, and they even used some of that technology for their client side, which is the streaming installs. So you could pop in a disk, and it's installing 50 gigs of data, but after 5 gigs, you could start playing a game.
Yeah,
like Killzone Shadowfall. Like one of the things is when you were downloading it from the internet or from the disc, you could select, I want to play multiplayer first, or it'll select, I want to play campaign first, and it'll prioritize getting that stuff done, and then you could start playing the game without having all the content downloaded.
That's something that Blizzard does. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's multifunctional things that they're investing in, and it's as I said, a service as well, where they could charge per time used more or less than a one-time purchase.
All right, let's move on. I still think it's a bad idea, but I mean, like, if you want to keep talking about it, I mean, you can say something, but let's move on.
Okay.
We'll talk about our good friend and fan of the show, Notch. Marcus Notch.
Why don't you give him a call and
have him talk about his house.
See if he could go over, play some video games.
Different time zone.
Give us like a live video tour.
Different time zone. It's not gonna work.
So it's
in Beverly Hills.
So it's 6:13 over there right now.
Yeah, that's working hours.
No, it's not.
That's dinner. He's at dinner right now.
He's at dinner right now.
He tweeted that picture of him with his feet up during quote unquote working hours. I'm sure he's not working.
He's hey, that's James Dean. I have the same birthday as James Dean.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh.
We're twins.
Of course, clearly.
So here's some.
The looks are uncanny.
Oh, look at that.
I don't know if that's an act of a replica or if it's an actual prop from the movie.
It looks like it's a prop from the movie.
So this amazing house. Yeah.
Mansion. Or whatever you want to call it. Not really a mansion. It's more of a.
It was purchased by Marcus Notch person.
Marcus Notch person. Cute. Cute. Okay. Keep going.
He outbid Beyonce and Jay-Z for this house for $70 million.
Nerds won again.
Yeah, that's that Minecraft money.
I mean, look at that house. It looks so nice.
I don't like that roof though. It looks like some industrial roof. Then again, it's not like
it's a contemporary house. It doesn't look very traditional anyway.
Yeah.
He has solar panels.
But I love
they could just put solar panels across the whole thing,
Yeah, but I love how like the driveway kind of splits.
Yeah.
And you've got the garage that goes under the driveway that leads up to the front door.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Money.
Yep. This is the average home of a game developer.
Yeah. Clearly.
It even comes with the women.
Yep.
So I mean, this is not entertaining for people who are listening to the show. Just for the people watching.
Just search Notch's house for $70 million, and you'll see lots of pictures.
Type in Notch bling bling, and then I'm sure this will be the first.
This is what happens when you don't spend all your money on Steam sales and sell Microsoft. Sell an IP to Microsoft. Yeah, sell an IP to Microsoft. So let's move on.
Yep.
And we'll talk about. I don't think we talked about the Sony hacks on the show. But yeah, the Sony got hacked recently, and a bunch of information has been going out. I don't know why I didn't talk about it earlier because I should have talked about like the Spider-Man stuff. That was pretty interesting. But anyways, so the people who hacked Sony made a threat about the movie The Interview, which is supposed to be coming out next week, which was originally planned to come out next week. And they said they made a threat saying basically there'd be like a 9/11 style attacks on theaters that will be showing this movie, which sounds pretty ridiculous because there are thousands of theaters across the United States.
I don't think North Korea realizes that though.
And
they might only have one film, like one cinema, and it's got like North Korean propaganda playing 24 hours.
The United States government they pinpointed that it was North Korean government that made this threat. Sony also before that, Sony, they have pulled the movie and they have canceled it.
It's because a lot of movie theaters were pulling that.
Yes, they were
And not
afraid
just
of
that, but,
showing
like,
it.
I was listening actually to NPR this morning, and they were talking about this, and
Welcome to NPR.
and they mentioned like this is something that, I mean, yeah, it affects Sony, but it affects all of Hollywood as well, because if people are hearing this threat about, you know, the potential of their theater being bombed or attacked while they're watching the movie, and then that means that no one will want to go to the theaters and watch any of the other movies that are playing there.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to risk their lives. So I mean, it's bad for Sony because they can't.
You know,
They can't release this
affects
movie.
Hollywood more than just that. Another way that it affects Hollywood is that this sends a message that you can only do movies about certain things.
Yeah.
Like you cannot, like they mocked Kim Jong Un in this movie, and it's like, oh, you can't mock certain people now because now you're gonna get death threats and 9/11 style threats.
So
it does bring a whole new.
Does,
like,
does
Obama
North
was
Korea
talking
have
about
even
this earlier
any
today.
aircrafts? Do they have like paper planes or something?
Yeah.
Can they afford paper?
Yeah, it's still really hard.
Kevin, speaking of which, Obama had his
Yeah.
year-end thingamabobber.
Yeah, so I
earlier
watched
today.
this today, and like the things that he was talking about, and like, he mentioned pretty much what you were saying. Like, it's not just affecting what people are going to watch, but what the movie industry is going to be willing to make, and it could affect things like self-censorship, which is totally against First Amendment rights or just constitutional rights in general. And he made the claim that this is not the American way.
American ways to bomb people.
Yeah. Like
I was just like deep in his own thought, and he was just like, yeah.
like Obama, he pretty much said that he said that Sony should have talked to him before making this movie, which I think that sounds like
not talking to him before making the movie,
or
talk to him before they had made the decision to cancel the movie.
Which I personally I think that sounds like honestly, like is it really that easy to just go up to Obama and be like, yo, dude,
you know what, he's not implying, yeah, you should have called me personally and talked.
Well,
about
they've been working with the FBI.
Like they should have, instead of canceling the movie, they should have gone through the politics and at least gotten help from somehow.
It'll be like, will we be safe?
And like
Are we okay?
Eventually, like he would have direct input to what Sony should do, but he was saying that Sony should have gone through the help first before making the decision to cancel the movie.
And he says that he's going there. He promises a response to North Korea because he says that he will not tolerate a dictator censoring others in other
especially
countries.
since we're not even in the same country.
Yeah. So
just fly over North Korea and drop like leaflets, just propaganda leaflets.
There's been lots of talks by a lot of people about like what Sony should do with this movie, like whether they should like put on Pirate Bay,
which
or
doesn't
whatever.
exist anymore.
Or just put a torrent of it up or whatever. And like Mitt Romney was on Twitter today. He was like, best business decision for Sony to do with this is just put it up on the internet for free and just ask people to donate $5 towards the Ebola research, which I don't know what Ebola has anything to do with this movie. I mean, like, I understand it's a good cause, but like, what's the link between this movie and Ebola? Is he trying to say that North Korea is the Ebola of the world?
Doesn't Mitt Romney have like more money than Sony?
Probably. Well, I mean, Mitt Romney is a businessman first and foremost.
He's a very rich businessman.
So like, I mean, like, as far as like business decisions, he probably knows what he's talking about. But like specifically saying Ebola,
They should have just said to a charitable cause.
yeah,
rather than specifically saying Ebola.
But I thought Ebola was Obama's fault.
Obama.
Hey, you're not supposed to finish my jokes for me.
I was thinking the same thing.
Idiots think alike, I guess.
You say idiots think alike?
Maybe.
That's not nice.
Anyway,
Sorry.
rolling on.
Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much it on the news. Let's go back to stop sharing. There's a little button right there. Ooh.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. My name is Stafa. I am your host for Out of Continues. Welcome to
The thing
NPR.
you've been listening to for the past 2 hours.
You've been listening to All Things Considered on NPR.
So, anyways, that's pretty much it as far as this episode goes. Let's wrap things up. We don't have any listener feedback this week.
Because it's almost Christmas.
Yeah, no, I don't believe in Christmas.
Get
So
it? 'Cause
anyways.
rapping things.
Yeah, boy.
No, not Kendrick Lamar rapping.
So, anyways, Michael Macklemore.
Michael
Moore.
Michael Moore.
Yes,
Macklemore.
Michael Moore. Yeah.
So, anyways, some shout outs real quick. Check out the Steam Curator page. I have like 6 or 7 people following that. But if you want to follow it, especially during these Steam sales, and you want to know what you should get, what games are recommended by Addict Continues, you can follow the Curator page. Link is at www.addict.com. Nathan Becker, also known as Ectogemia, Ectogemia. Ooh, excuse me, a little burp. Facebook.com/Ectogemia, SoundCloud.com/Ectogemia. He did the intro song. If you're listening to the MP3 of this podcast, you heard the intro song in the beginning of this podcast, and you'll hear another song at the end of this podcast that he wrote, and it is for the Beware the Bully soundtrack, which is an awesome game that I made, and he did the music for it. So if you like that music, check out Ectogemia. Do you guys have anything you want to plug?
No, I think I'm good.
Yep, same.
All right. Get me a job, please. That too. If you enjoy what you've been hearing, support us by liking us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Leave an iTunes review. You can contact us by email, which is podcast@outofcontinues.com. And through that email, you can give us suggestions on topics to talk about or questions that you want to send us. All of these can be found on the website, which is www.outofcontinues.com. You can also subscribe on youtube.com/addict-continues. That link is also on addict-continues.com. You can give me a tweet. I am at Sayed Stafa. That is at SAYEDSTAFA. And we got Ali over here.
Yep, you can contact me at PHOSPHOR112, Phosphor 112.
And then we got Kevin.
And I am at KS Trehan. That's KSTREHAN.
And then we got Adam, who is at Out of Continues. You can tell him what's up, and he'll say, ho, 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 homie.
How do you know?
Because
Are you paying him to say that?
Ho, ho, homie.
I don't pay anyone anything because I don't have any money.
I'm glad you made a joke about yourself.
Oh, like I haven't been doing that all show. I would like to thank my guest host for joining me today. Ali, thank you for
Thank
letting
you.
us record at your home.
You're welcome.
Kevin, thank you for being here and leaving your younger brother stranded and not picking him up.
Well, he didn't tell me until I was already here that he needed. But yeah, thanks for having me on the show again.
And with that said, I am your host, Stafa. Remember, next week is the final podcast of the year, so send us your top games. Peace out, everybody.
That was a little excessive.